Hello and welcome back to HCS Weekly.
I thought, yo, this is my life. I have to go pro in Halo.
In my head, thought that was more efficient, and I guess I was right.
He was like the god. We would have to 2v1 like just to beat this guy. Like
I don't know, man. I'll try and reach you. You're like, oh, see you guys later.
A lot of Halo in my life, man. It's been a fun journey.
I love it. Hello and welcome back to HCS Weekly, your weekly destination for all things HCS. I'm your host, ShyWay. We are back once again. The E3 press conference wrapped up on Sunday. Halo Infinite has been revealed, and man, Chief looks good. I'm excited to see what comes from this game. And of course, we got to talk about the trailer. We got to talk about Halo. There's so much going on with Halo right now in the summer. And of course, one of the best individuals to talk about it is a legendary pro, Neighbor himself, who'll be joining us a little bit later on the show. But before we get there, we've got our news. We got our trick jump. Let's jump into the news with MattyRums from NewCombo.com. How's it going, Matty?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Good to see you once again, dude. What did you think of E3? Let's start with the press conference. What did you think of the press conference overall? Just a quick.
I liked it. A bunch of games that looked pretty good. I would have liked to see a little more gameplay rather than just cinematic trailers, but what I saw, I liked. Cyberpunk looks awesome.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I think a good comparison to make was the Doom presentation from Bethesda versus Microsoft's presentation. Like, it's night and day. Like, the Doom gameplay, that stole the show of that presentation. Like, it was exciting. It was engaging. All they had to do was the same thing for Gears of War. Get some guy who's reasonably good, like pretty good at Gears, and have him play a vertical splice of the game and just kill it. Just wreck some locusts, and we'd be hyped. Like, that's all.
Yeah, I read a few people were disappointed with Gears because it's coming out real soon, and they saw like nothing.
It's coming out in September, dude. And I'm sure they've got plenty of awesome footage. So, like, yeah, it doesn't have to be a live gameplay on stage where it's all freaky and there's latency and stuff. Just, like, pre-record something where a guy's kicking ass and then play it, and people are going to be excited to see that. Apart from that, like, they showed some good games, I think. Yeah.
But as the trailer goes, I liked it. I thought it looked great. It didn't really, like, I'm still excited. I've been excited for the game, but it didn't bring it up anymore because I was expecting something good to be shown, and what they showed was good.
Sure,
it's what I was expecting.
You know what? I think so a lot of us had expectations on gameplay, right? And that's an expectation fueled by the fact that this is the longest period of time we've had between Halo releases. It's been like it's going to be 5 years basically.
Yeah, almost 5, yeah.
Yeah, right. So that people want gameplay on top of the fact that there are a couple like unsubstantiated news articles by what I thought were reputable sources. Like if you look at the OXM, I know
that was a big one.
That was a big one. And who said this on Twitter? Who was it? Why
Moses.
Moses. There you go. Moses on Twitter. He called it out. The OXM, like official Xbox magazine, had said there will be gameplay. This is like a leak, and it'll be on stage. It'll be playing on the Xbox Scarlet or something. And then everybody's expectations went through the roof. So not getting gameplay, I understand the disappointment that comes with that. But I think the message, if you take time, you rewatch the trailer, you read the Halo Waypoint article linked in the Halo post, I think that article really says a lot. It kind of just talks about what they want to accomplish with the game, their kind of mission for the game, and I think there's something very powerful in that message. I think they really are trying to adhere to the most hardcore of hardcore fans for Halo. It really goes back to that classic Spartan that we know and love, the Master Chief. So I think they kind of showed just enough, because if they showed gameplay and they had sprint or like one thrust ability or something, I feel like there would be a lot of discussion on the internet, and there'd be people taking sides, and it would be crazy, and we got a year till release. So I think they played it safe, but they did a pretty good job to win back, some of the people who might, previously not be, or who might have stepped out, right?
Yeah, as much as I wanted to see gameplay, rather than just take their time and, stick to the plan.
Sure. Yeah. But let's see what we got as far as news goes, right? Because we always have our MCC playlist updates. We've got Halo CE, Halo 2, Halo 3, and matchmaking, apparently. Give me the rundown, Matty.
Yeah, they made a few little bug fixes and patches. In Halo CE, they removed the auto-aim and the red reticle from the rocket launcher. Apparently, auto-aim was added to it for Halo PC, and then it was never changed back for MCC. They added more score to win, betrayal booting, and time limit options to the custom games. Right. And they adjusted time and score limits for Mayhem in Action Sack.
So a lot of little balancing tweaks.
It's what majority of these changes were.
Right. Makes sense.
For Halo 2, they fixed a big issue, actually, if you played Halo 2. anyone who plays it experiences a lot of trading, but they fixed the issue that made kill trading more common. Then it's supposed to be more like the original than I guess what we've been seeing.
Okay.
Because I think what it was the person who was host was still getting shot even though the player was technically like declared dead.
Okay.
The weapon was still firing. They explain a little more in the way.
I hate to see. Yeah, like latency-based trading where you clearly got the kill first.
Yeah, so they fixed something that should help that out. They disabled the infinite sudden death, and they
what
changed.
Was that?
I guess when you went to sudden death, it just kept going on and on. Maybe they added a time limit. They didn't put a specific sense, so I'm not too sure. And
sorry. If it's sudden death, sorry, I read that wrong. I thought that was like something to do with like a suicide or something. Like you're caught in like an infinite suicide loop or something like crazy.
And then they changed the rank delta from ±10 to ±15, which should help for matchmaking.
Okay. All right. So some good tweaks there as well. Of course, Halo 3, more of the same.
Yeah, there was apparently a hardcore construct map variant that was missing from custom games, so they added that in.
Nice.
They enabled betrayal booting and adjusted gravity settings in the Speed Demons game.
Awesome.
And then as far as matchmaking, they just disabled friendly fire in the Fiesta mode.
Okay. So a little tweak there.
Yeah, nothing huge, just little bug fixes and patches to improve the games.
And right now, I know a lot of the team is just focused on E3. And I mean, if you look at HCS as well, I feel like they just had a couple posts for the weekend. It was like just the E3 post and kind of like not too much around that. They kind of slowed it down and really just wanted to focus on the main content pieces. Of course, you have the link to the Halo Waypoint article, the relevant article here. All of that's present on NoobCombo.com as well, so you guys can go there and check that out. We have events coming up that were announced, right? So we already knew about the Face at London, but we got another event this time, and it's the Red Bull Rise Till Dawn 2019 in Chicago. There it is.
I think this one surprised a lot of people. I don't think anyone really saw it coming, but it's an HCS Grassroots event that's going to be held on July 13th. It's a 2v2 tournament. It's going to be held on the 99th floor of the Willis Tower in Chicago. And I don't know if you've been to Chicago and have been to this tower, when you get up there, it's an awesome scene. So it should be real cool to play. Right. You get to overlook like the entire city because it's just windows everywhere.
Ooh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I remember not overhearing, but like reading some tweets that said the schedule for it was really weird though. It like starts at like 8 p.m. or something. It goes like way into the a.m.
The matches start around 8:30 and it ends at 5:30 in the morning. So it literally is Rise Till Dawn.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, now the name makes sense. I don't know why I didn't put that together, but I guess for a lot of gamers who basically are night owls, we live in the night anyway. It couldn't be that rough to stay up maybe a couple more hours. I know when I play with Batchford, he's in Europe and it's like 11:30 p.m. and he's playing with me. I'm like, dude, it's got to be like 5 or 6 a.m. where you are. Like you're crazy. What are you doing? That's just like a daily thing for him. Anyway. But yeah, I guess you guys will be grinding late. It's happening in Chicago. We got prize pools as well. What do we got?
Yeah, so first place gets $5,000, second place is $3,500, and third place is $1,500.
Nice.
But they're also holding a free-for-all tournament that's going to be held during bracket play. So I guess if you've gotten eliminated, you can participate in this free-for-all tournament. Okay. And there's no cash prize, but they're going to have prizes from their Red Bull partners, which I think I saw was like HyperX and Alienware, I think.
Ooh, nice.
So you might be able to get some pretty cool stuff from there.
Some gamer swag for sure.
Yeah, and it's $100 per team, and it says there's very limited space, so if you're interested to sign up now.
Yeah, it does sound like a very exclusive event. Even just saying it's on like a level of a building, like a specific floor, like I can't imagine there's too much space to work with there. So it'll be very, very cool venue, but small exclusive space. Make sure you guys try to get in there as early as possible if you plan on competing. Little recap on E3. I know we talked about it a bit. You said there's the Discover Hope trailer, and then what's this about Sketch's post on Xbox.com?
On Xbox.com, they have their news is called Xbox Wire, and Sketch posted a little article on there talking about mainly Reach.
Right.
And we got some new information from it. He says that public flighting is coming this month.
Let's go.
So
they said that before, though.
Yeah, that's true. But I think since it's an E3 thing, I feel like it's kind of like more official, you know?
Yeah, I did get a peek at some of the E3 content from Reach, right? Because they had the campaign demos, and then somebody grabbed a quick video of the settings, all the tweaking and settings.
Yeah.
Sketch, yeah, there you go. And that looked pretty exciting too. Even just seeing that, I was like, damn, now I'm more interested in this than Halo Infinite. We got a year to wait for Infinite. Let's see what's happening on PC, right?
Yeah, and I saw even PC Gamer tweeted out. They had posted an article and it said that that Halo Reach on PC feels like a PC game.
Right.
So
I saw that too. Yeah, it feels like a proper PC, and which it should. And I know it's a long project, it's a long time coming from these guys to get everything perfect with field of view, with varying resolutions, like a PC hardware, whatever it is. But I'm hoping that, as soon as they nail it, they get it out there, people are going to love it. They're going to jump on it. It is the Steam most wish-listed game, right? So we're hoping it really brings a lot of audience to the game. Did you see Ninja's tweets, by the way? Ninja's like totally down to play Halo Infinite. I don't know if you guys have been keeping track on any of the big like celebrities on Twitter here, but Ninja,
I haven't seen him.
He is very excited for Halo Infinite, it seems. It's like he was saying something about like it feels like we've been waiting forever for the next Halo game. He's replying to other Halo pros tweets. He seems invested. So just knowing that he could very well be coming back with the next Halo release, that's automatically like attends
that's good.
Over hundreds of thousands of people who are all of a sudden exposed to Halo that may not have been. So that just bodes well. Tournament results as well. What do we got?
Oh yeah, but I just wanted to add to the Sketches post. He also said that each title for MCC on PC can be purchased for $9.99 individually, except for ODST will be $4.99 because it's campaign only. But he also mentioned they announced the Game Pass for PC as well, and all the titles will be included in Game Pass for PC.
They're killing it with Game Pass, right? I know.
Oh, yeah, the Game Pass Ultimate is a steal. For I think it was like $15 a month. You get it for Xbox and PC.
Yeah, on top of the fact that the day of E3, they added like 21 new games to Game Pass, and some of those are gems. Like, if you guys have never heard of Hollow Knight, go download it right now and play it. It's freaking amazing. Like, it's so good. So they did add a lot of good stuff to it. Game Pass Ultimate is I guess, the best way to subscribe to it all. So some great things there. And yeah, like you said, coming to Game Pass, all the Halo titles. I guess if you don't already own it, you want to buy them individually, there is a price tag for that on PC. But I'm assuming if you already own an Xbox, do you have to repurchase the individual titles on Steam, or?
I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that you do, that it's not a play anywhere title.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that you have to repurchase.
All right. Well, we'll see how that goes when we get there.
Infinite's a different story, but I'm pretty sure MCC you have to repurchase it.
All right. Fair enough. Tournament results that were happening in the meantime. We've got Europa Halo Double Down #1.
Yeah, so this took place on Sunday. It was a 2v2 tournament. First place went to Akashi and Kagami, which was Legends and Saika.
So some Naruto references right there, by the way.
Is that what that is? I've never watched Naruto, and I'll probably get roasted for it. But
wait, actually, is it?
I don't know.
I actually don't know if it is. It almost is.
Second place was Depresso Espresso, which was Squashy and Havoc. Third place was the finishers, which is Tommy the Krogan and Sammy the Ferris.
Okay.
And that's just the top 3. I put the top 8 up on the website.
Right, you can see it all there.
Bracket. Yeah.
Just good to see Europa Halo's been killing it. I know they have more events coming up in the near future as well. They showcase their whole time frame for it all, so you guys can get involved with that. If you're a European Halo fan, you got a lot coming. On top of that, you've got London coming up, so a big reason to get back on the Halo 3 grind. So a lot of exciting stuff there. Events this week as well to close us out.
Friday, June 14th, Carolina Gaming League is hosting a Halo 3 2v2 online, so it's North American only.
Nice.
But anyone can play. It's online. You can register for that now.
Perfect.
And Sunday, June 16th, if you're a Halo Wars player, Breaking the Clutch has their E-League June Open.
Awesome. So there you guys go. Those are the events coming up this week. Of course, we have plenty more in the near future. For any more information on what we just talked about, please go check out noobcombo.com. MattyRums runs it. He's got all the details there. It's all organized and easy for you guys to navigate, so make sure to check that out. Matty, thank you for joining me once again.
Anytime, man.
See you, man. All right, that ends our news for the week so far. We've also got our trick jump as well. Let's jump into our trick jump with ClearlyMe in our trick jump segment. What am I saying right now, Clearly? I'm stumbling. Help me. I had something else that I wanted to say, and then I lost my train of thought, and then I'm like, what is this segment? The trick jump segment with ClearlyMe? Just stunned me, man. I know you got amazing jumps. I think, did you already give me the hint that there was because I know last week we talked about that crazy one off the pylon, and then I was like, how did you get there? And then you linked me to another tweet.
Mhm.
Was that what you're seeing or no?
No, the high ground clip that I sent you, that crazy quickscope I got in a sniper cave.
Right.
That's what I'm showcasing today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I saw that one too. That was nice.
Yes.
All right, let's check it out.
Yeah, so I posted this to Twitter the other day, and I titled it something along the lines of how to keep a sniper rifle when you're stuck in sniper cave. And I throw a couple quick frags here to deter the guy to give me some time to heal up. And I noticed a guy on laser tower. And
I like how you said you
didn't want
noticed
to be
the guy.
exposed. Yeah.
Because when I saw that, I was like, did he notice him though? Oh my god, dude! All right, we have to replay it. We got to see that because I totally just didn't let you talk about the good parts here.
Oh no, you're good. But yeah, I hit a little ghost jump right up this wall here. And there's this little ledge you can stand on, and it's actually fairly wide. You can crouch and walk down a fair amount of it. But the guy thought he had me 100%. He came around that corner 100% confident.
Dude.
But yeah, man, a lot of people don't know about that spot. It's extremely easy to do once you know exactly where to jump, when to jump. And it just comes in handy, man. And I hit it almost every single time I attempt it.
I like that you mentioned. Sorry, what was that?
No, you're good. No, continue.
I was just saying, I like that you mentioned the confidence on that challenge because you're so right. That guy, he jumps around the corner expecting you to be there. Like, look at this guy, like completely baffled.
Yep.
Wait for it. Oh, it just skipped on my screen. I'm not sure if you saw that, but he literally jumped out with the expectation. Yeah, there he is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, dude, you just did him dirty. So you said it's a ghost jump on the wall there? Is that the main trick?
Yeah. There's a specific spot you have to line up with because it only registers in one specific spot. But once you realize exactly where that is and when to jump, it's almost 100% every single time you try. Yeah. Almost. But yeah, that guy had a ton of confidence, and I destroyed him.
Yeah, I like how you're constantly searching for jumps outside of the typical like competitive map pool. Would you say like most of the craziest jumps that you're finding are even outside of that? Like I guess you're always just looking through everything. What about campaign too?
I mean, a little of everything. I really haven't exposed myself to too much campaign. There's some friends of mine have made some crazy montages of just strictly campaign stuff. I mean, across all Halos, not just Halo 3.
Right.
But there's a ton of content that you can pull up in the campaign, and I plan on eventually trying to do that at some point just to have some fresh stuff to do. Yeah. But I mean, after a while running through the maps, a lot of the hardcore MLG maps, are the more popular maps, and they're kind of run dry for the most part.
Right. People have been all over them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to find new content or exposing people to tutorials that they don't already know about,
Right.
So you do kind of get run dry, and I think that knowing jumps on the non-hardcore maps are equally as important as far as learning more about map awareness and just being more open-minded to learning things like that.
Right. And I also got to ask, man, as a guy who loves the classic Chief, what did you think about the trailer, by the way, on the weekend?
Oh, and I loved it.
Yeah, what do you think about Chief?
It's a good mixture of Halo 2 and Halo 3. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the armor from Halo 2 and Halo 3, it's pretty much like a good mixture right down the middle of both of those, and I love that.
Yeah.
I really hope that, with this new Halo, we get that classic feel that a lot of us have really been hoping and dreaming for.
Yeah.
That I feel like we've lost touch with over Halo 4 and Halo 5.
I see Neighbor crossing his fingers in the corner. We've got him in the corner of the screen here. He wants that classic feel back for sure.
I posted a comment on Halo's post because they posted the trailer to their Twitter shortly after, and I got a bunch of likes on it. But I just said, just give us Halo 3 physics and a 1 to 50 ranking system, and we'll all be fine.
Sure. Yeah. I definitely think as far as their direction for the story and just the sounds and the look of everything, they are going back to that's the Halo 1 shield recharge sound without a doubt. You can't mistake those noises. You can't mistake the way the Chief looks. So I mean, it's setting a hell of a precedent. I wonder how they're going to follow up. You know what I mean? You're You're bringing in a massive community, a lot of hype and expectation. It's a scary situation. I understand the need to innovate the game, and I think that the game should be innovated, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But how they choose to do it, it's going to be interesting.
I really hope for what I do, there's some big opportunities for me to, grow the trick jump community and be able to do what I do now, But one thing I want to point out in that trailer is the emotional grasp that trailer has. And I feel like 343 with Halo 5 especially, I didn't feel emotionally attached to the storyline. And immediately, watching that trailer, like that guy that we don't know anything about, we don't even know his name, he was looking at that hologram of, I believe to be his wife, maybe, I don't know. But as somebody who has 2 children myself, seeing something like that really grabbed my heartstrings, and
nice.
It really pulled me in.
Yeah.
And I'm really intrigued to what the story is going to be, and I feel like they already emotionally grabbed me just by that little 6-minute snippet,
Yeah, they're doing what they can to pull you in for sure. I was watching some reactions to it as well. I saw Vito's reaction. You guys should check that out if you haven't seen it. It's very wholesome reaction. The guy is just giddy, like he's got the shivers, like looking at Chief. It was, it kind of gave me that feeling too, just like vicariously through his excitement. I feel it, man. I think a lot of people have been waiting to see Chief like that, forever. And that story just, just building such a foundation for the game.
Oh yeah, and I'm just so like you said, vetoed. I'm just so excited to see all these people just so in tune with each other and in their excitement.
Right.
I really haven't seen too much negativity surrounding the trailer,
which is good.
And it like you mentioned earlier about Ninja, seeing people like that chiming in, it's really exciting, and I can't wait to see what Halo's future is going to be.
So in the meantime, you're going to be trick jumping your way till 2020. What are we going to see from you? How do we get involved with the trick jump community? How can we have more people, join this cause?
I will be posting some links to my trick jumping Discord server that I created on Mixer and on Twitch. I'll post it after my segment is over.
Nice.
My trick jump Discord server consists of many people who are considered OGs, who have been around doing this as long as I have, or even longer, who are willing to help. We post tutorials in there. We have a challenge system. And it's just a good place to chat with people, ask questions, and just stay in tune with the community, and just trying to expand it a little bit more and be more personable with people by creating this. Also, I have a very large community project that I'm working on, as I've recently joined Jump Theory,
nice.
A big, well-known jump group. To anybody listening, you might be familiar with their Look Before You Leap videos. But anyways, they put me in charge of a Halo 3 project, and anybody can submit clips, but they do have to reach a certain level of skill in order to be accepted into the video.
Exclusive club only here.
Kind of, but anybody can submit. They just have to be really good, though. But I don't plan on releasing this video until early next year. I'm giving plenty of time for PC players to chime in on this and give them time to land stuff.
Awesome.
Like, for example, that Rat's Nest clip that I showed last week was over 800 attempts before I even actually landed it. So
yeah, no, thank you.
It takes a lot of time.
I can't see myself doing that. Yeah, I respect the artwork, the final presentation, but damn, 800 attempts, dude.
I have one jump in this that I've landed that took over 132 hours combined time to even get.
And is it the one that was it was linked on your page?
No, I'm keeping this a deep dark secret until this video comes out. It's a video that was a clip that was supposed to be landed for the last Look Before You Leap video that never got landed, and when I joined, I decided to make it my goal to land it, and got it finally, and it's considered right now one of the top 5 hardest unaided jumps to ever be landed in the Halo franchise. So.
Right, so I got to wait all the way till 2020 to see it, you're saying?
Yep. Yeah, you do.
That's a long time, man. Somebody might land that before 2020, and then they'll steal your thunder.
No, it will never happen.
Okay. Well, Guys, clearly, clearly me right here has been killing it with the trick jumps. You've got the best place to start would be at MCC Trick Jumps. You can check out the trick jumping community. You've got the Discord. You've got the associated YouTube channel. So many ways to get involved with trick jumping, and that's only going to continue with the release of Reach and MCC PC. We got so much to look forward to here. So make sure to check that out, guys. And clearly, thank you for joining me once again.
Of course, man. Thank you. Anytime.
No problem. I'll see you around.
See you.
All right, guys, that ends our news and our trick jump for the week, and I'm excited to bring on our guest today. It is a two-time Halo MLG champion, the Sneaky Beaver, Neighbor. Welcome, man.
Alex, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on, man. How are you? Because we've got, you killed it at DreamHack Dallas. We've got Infinite, the trailer that just came out. How have you been? Are you chilling? Are you doing well?
Honestly, I've been a little sick after
no.
Dallas. The event was awesome. I had a lot of fun. We went to the event on short notice as a team. We didn't really have much practice, but with how we did at the event, I was super stoked. And it's been nice being back in Seattle and getting some rest because, as you said earlier in the show, there are some tournaments coming up with the 2v2
Yes.
Red Bull tournament, London. And so, definitely going to start the grind here pretty soon again.
Okay, and I'm looking forward to that. But I've got one question for you to start that's a little kind of off the wall here. It's something that I've noticed. A lot of people have noticed this as well. It's that, as time goes on, a lot of the OG pros, they start to age. You know what I mean? Look at Strong Side, for example. The hair disappears, the wrinkles, not specifically Strong Side, but people age with time. Meanwhile, you haven't aged at all. You look like the same, basically. Tony, I know he has an image that he's going to overlay over top of me. Look at it. It's basically, that's like 10 years ago.
I hate that picture so fucking much.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yo,
Sorry
that's
for
on
swearing.
your wiki. That's the
I
picture.
know, God. That picture, I honestly, back when I was younger, when we do these MLG photo shoots, you take a bunch of pictures, and I didn't really know, what the pose was. And so in that picture specifically, a lot of times when I take a picture, as you noticed in the tweet that you guys sent out, my eyes are and my dad always calls me
By
out
your
on this.
design.
Yeah, it's just on accident. I just always have my eyes shut when the picture's taken. And so for that specific photo, I made sure my eyes were and that I guess stuck forever.
The other way.
Yeah.
The other way. So are you saying that picture that you sent us, which is the goofy photo, that wasn't on purpose at first?
No, that wasn't on purpose. That was just a straight up. That was a photo from.
Wow.
Yeah. That
and
was.
They posted that somewhere, these.
Yeah, that was on a show I did. I did a show called The Controller, and I did that with T Squared and some MTV people, and that was the photo that they used for that show.
Jeez.
Yeah, but I love that photo. It's one of my favorites. So.
Yeah. I mean, it does kind of show that side of your personality. You're a funny dude. Now, there's something I also wanted to ask is on top of the aging question, I was lurking on your stream just from yesterday, and you actually said that you're using a serum to negate the effects of aging to get rid of the bags under your eyes.
I'll
is that a joke?
I'll tell you what. I'm not sponsored by L'Oreal.
All right, skincare tips right here.
This is L'Oreal Age Perfect. This is for the eyeballs because, the wrinkles are coming. The gray hair is definitely there. And, you got to combat it. I'm 29. I turn 30 next year. And, you got to take care of your body. And, I mean, I really don't care about my appearance, but at the same time, if I could preserve some of the youthfulness, I'm going to try and do so.
Man, I respect it. I think it's normal nowadays. Everybody's doing it. I've got a little bit of a powder on my face, so I don't look like I'm sweaty AF. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you look fantastic. You look great.
Oh, thank you, man. It's it's all work in progress. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. That's why you're still looking so young, and people need to take some tips. It's the what's it called? L'Oreal
Age Perfect. Yeah.
Age Perfect. There you go.
Eye renewal. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. So let's actually talk about Halo now, because today you're a two-time MLG Halo champion. You're known to be one of the most individually skilled players. You're a former pro team member at 343, and now you're competing again for Falling Esports. But where did it all begin? How did you first get into Halo?
It all began, with Halo 1 for me. When Halo 1 came out, I was like, I always get the day wrong. I think 2001 is when Halo 1 dropped.
Yeah.
And, me and my buddies, we used to, LAN at each other's houses. We actually didn't LAN. We only played on one Xbox split screen. We'd play, 2v2 on Hang 'em High. So it began with Halo 1. And then when Halo 2 came out, when I was 15, that game was the rage, and that's when Xbox was extremely popular. So all my friends at school, we played that game. Especially I remember going into the summer of freshman year. I mean, we were online. I don't think we ever left the house because we do clan matches and we tried to rank up, and we were all fairly addicted to that game. And and then it got to the point where our clan match, our clan name was Team Master Chefs. Okay. And we actually were ranked 16 in minor clan match, and this was before the patch, so 16 was actually pretty high at the time. And we ended up matching against Check 6, and Check 6 was comprised of it was T Squared, Zyos, Killer N, and I don't remember the other guy, but all I remember is Ivory one flag CTF, and we spawned on the offensive at the bottom of the elevator. We all got on the elevator to rush for sniper because we all wanted to snipe. Right. And they threw the nades off the top ceiling, which none of us have ever seen before. So we all 4 died. Every single one of us goose. We didn't get a kill. And from that moment on, I was like, who the hell are these guys? So I did some research, and that's how I found MLG. Damn. And so through that, I went to the MLG website. I joined the forums. I bought a pass for VOD, which was $20 a year that I had to, beg my parents to let me use their card for. And then, I started watching, the MLG tournaments that, already happened and took place. And then randomly I heard about MLG Seattle in 2005. Right. And I wanted to test my skills to see how I could play against these guys. I went to the tournament without a team. I was with my buddy, and we were going to find 2 other people, but there was a team from Canada called the Teabagging Crew that came down, and their 4th didn't show up. He didn't drive down from Canada. He just said, screw it, you guys, whatever. So I joined up with them. They were actually really good. In the minor clan match rank, they were one of the top teams, and we played against IGS at the time, which was Karma. Gandhi was on the team. Nice. Vash, and we ended up taking the game in warm-ups. Wow. And everyone's like, who are these kids? Because no one heard of us. And my gamer tag was Al B Thug. Like, people were like, what? Right. Who is this? And so, we ended up placing top 8, and then, and I didn't really think much of it. I was kind of bummed because I was like, I wanted to win. But like 2 weeks later in the mail, I received a piece of mail from MLG inviting me to LA for the playoffs. Wow. And I had to beg my parents like crazy to go to this event. And I had to do a lot of chores. But yeah, and from there, just ended up evolving into this whole career thing.
Damn, that's actually pretty incredible. So like Halo 2, like you said, it was all the rage at the time. I actually heard from some previous interviews with like other Halo pros, I think it was Bravo, where like your social status in school almost like depended on your skill in Halo. Was that like synonymous at all? Like, well, so, like if you were good at Halo, were you cool in school?
It's interesting because the short answer is no, because at Halo 2, this was still when gaming wasn't really, relevant and within the the masses, right? And so I actually had a pro player named Toxin who was on STK, he was on Check 6, he was a Halo 1 pro. He went to the same high school as me, so he was 2 years older than me. And this is a story I've told before, but to get on a pros list back in the day, it was one of the most challenging things on the planet because you only had 100 spots and then you had your clan. And so
on their friends list, right? The Xbox friends list, 100 spots, right?
It was almost impossible unless you're a pro. And so, I tried, and Toxin was known as one of the he won MLG Boston, I think it was, with T Squared and Halo 1 in 04. So nice. He played with the best of the best. And so I was like adamant about getting on this guy's friends list. So I went to school, and before I went to school, I printed out Bungie stat page of me playing against STKPN Shibby.
Oh my god.
And God, who was the other guy? Exit Wounds Hangman. And Exit Wounds Hangman wasn't a pro. Shibby's not a pro. They're both known figures. But I printed it out and I handed it to him. I met him in the hallway. I was like, hey man, look, I beat these guys. Wow. And he just looked at me because he was around all of his friends like, oh, who is this nerd? God damn it. He's exposed to me. Because it wasn't known that he was a Halo pro.
Oh, okay.
School.
Right.
And I was like, screw that. Like I came to school with my controller.
You didn't care.
Like I loved Halo at the time. So I mean, it was like all I could think about. And so Yeah, that was actually an interesting situation because his friend ended up like tackling me, and then I got a wedgie.
Oh.
I was hazed pretty hard as a freshman, I'm not gonna lie.
Damn.
And but we ended up teaming after a couple locals, and he gave me a shot, and he's one of my best friends to this day. He's one of the mentors that I've had going through this whole scene. So
Right.
I have a
You
lot
became,
of love for that.
Yeah, and you became Toxin's neighbor as well, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
But first of all, that's incredible just thinking about it, because you're right. Like, it's so different nowadays. 360, you had a limit of 100 players on a friends list, and that was exclusive as fuck. Like, that was, if you were a pro player, everybody on your list were pros, and you had to somehow get your way in there. That's actually really cool that it worked that way. And you're like grinding online leaderboards. You end up going up against T Squared. Who's this guy? You have to pay money to see the VODs. Like, I don't know. The whole process of it is ancient now, but it's kind of incredible because it requires so much passion to get there, and you really have to earn it, and it probably feels that way when you do. Yeah. So first off, before the Toxins neighbor tag, you had LIB Thug as your
ILB
tag.
Thug.
ILB Thug, and you're part of the teabagging crew, which sounds like a meme squad before memes were a thing. But I guess the teabagging crew, you just you ended up on that squad. That wasn't by your design. So where does ILB Thug come from?
So I don't know if I've ever told this story before, but since it's 10 years later and I'm 29, I guess I'll share this with you guys.
Okay.
Not like it really matters, but when I was in high school, me and my group of friends, we're all very, very nerdy, but we tried to be cool. Some of us played sports, did this. We created a gang called ILB, and it stood for Interrogating Luscious Beasts. And we tried to put out a rap song, which I think is still up till this day on was it Spitfire or something?
How old are you in this rap
I will
song?
not be linking you guys that.
Damn it, dude.
I think I was 14, so yeah, we're in 8th grade, and we rapped over the instrumental to "Welcome to Atlanta," and it's terrible. And we got a lot of wedgies and people asking for our lunch money because of the song we made. But anyways, yeah, so that was our group. We thought it was a gang, but the thing is, we did nice, friendly stuff around our community. We didn't tag, with buildings with graffiti. We actually picked up trash and tried to be we were a friendly gang. That's what we were.
A friendly gang.
Yeah.
What's a luscious beast? What the hell?
No one knows. No one knows. That's just what
It's not
we
related
were.
to ladies or anything. It's just you're just
No. This game was all dudes. Yeah. Now that I think about it, it's
No, that's a cool little chapter of your life right there. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. So then that eventually changed. That turned into Toxin's neighbor. So like you said, Toxin as a pro, was he legitimately your neighbor at the time, and you just decided to call yourself?
Dude, this is gonna piss people off, but he lived like 15 minutes away, so technically no, he wasn't a neighbor, but he was in the vicinity of Google Maps, and so
the vicinity of Google Maps.
yeah, he was close by. It's actually really funny too because Toxin, when I was in, I'd say 5th grade, and I played minor league baseball, I was actually on his team because I played up a level. I was playing like juniors when I shouldn't have. He was actually on my team, and I didn't even know, he played Halo then. And so it just all kind of evolved. And the reason why I made Toxin's neighbor was because, like I said, it was extremely difficult to get on pros friends lists. And having that gamer tag that really stands out, especially when we're at like the level that I was at, because I was playing against pros constantly. The tag actually went from ILB Thug, then it went to Techno, then it went to Toxin's neighbor.
Okay.
But on Techno, I was playing against these pros all the time, and I was like, I need to make something that will stick, that people will remember. And so I just made Toxin's neighbor. It's kind of a deer-hiding gamer tag. And,
you're straggling on the coattails of
100%. But the thing is, we became really good friends, and I remember I don't remember exactly what event it was, but I remember I was walking with Alex. He's like, "You want to go to Walshy's room?" And I was like, "What? Walshy? Are you joking me? Hell yeah!" So I followed him. I'm like a young, was 15. Opens up the hotel room door. It's Walshy, Tupac. I think there was an ogre in there.
Okay.
And I was just like, I couldn't even speak. Yeah, I don't think I said a word, but I was just in there. I was just like, hey, how you guys doing? I was super, nervous and stuff at the time because, those guys for me, the old school pros with the Walsh ogres, all the the pros that came before me, those are the people that I looked up to during that time. So
well, so it's crazy how quickly you just shot up and joined them, though, because I mean, so 2005 you're part of the teabagging crew, but then 2006. Or actually, first, so you also joined Limited Edition, Team Chuck Wolfman as well. This was under the Toxics Neighbor tag. And then 2006, you joined Triggers Down. And then you're achieving 5th place at MLG Anaheim 2006. And then later, you followed that up 2007 by joining the legendary squad Straight Rippin'. And now you're playing with Elamite, T-Squared, and Legit. And you have one of your most successful years in your career. You placed 1st place at MLG Orlando 2007. So, I mean, holy crap, like you shot up, you're playing with the people that you aspired to be like. And then how does that feel, winning that first event? How did you feel about Halo at the time? Was it more than just a hobby? And then in the background, I think, Tony, you can play up a little bit of gameplay there. We've got Straight Rippin' versus SK. The quality's terrible. I'm sorry, guys, but it's a nice 49-49 tiebreaker. But yeah, tell me about kind of how did you feel about Halo? What was it like winning?
I mean, it was such a surreal experience just because of all the sacrifices that our whole team made to get to that point. Mm-hmm. I mean, I gave up quite a bit of my teenage years dedicated to dedicate myself to this game.
Right.
And I didn't go to prom because of the MLG event. I didn't do a lot of things. I quit golf, and I was one of the top junior golfers when I was younger. And that was something that was really challenging between myself and my parents because my dad was he very much wanted me to become a pro golfer.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, the experience, it was wild because how that team formed, everything just kind of came together. It was really lucky because Elon Mike got dropped after doing really well for Nated. And then T-Squared him and I were teaming, but I was going to get dropped because we didn't place that well at the event prior to Chicago. And then Legit, since Native left Legit, he needed a team. So it just all kind of like came together. Mm-hmm. And I just remember our first tournament at Chicago 2007, we took second and we lost to FB. I think it was 6-3. But the fact that we were able to take a game, the fact that we beat Carbon, we just knew that we had the capability, going into the next event. After we got that experience under our belts, we knew that going into the next event, we could definitely, win a tournament. And I just remember afterwards, it was so weird because, it's a goal that I was striving for years. And I always imagined and dreamt about like, what will it feel like winning or beating the Ogres, because we beat the Ogres, Walshy and Strongside.
Yeah.
And it was everything it lived up to be. And, I'm really grateful that I got to do it with that group of guys because, Brian, Kyle, and Tom, to me, they were brothers back then. Still love them now. Have a lot of love for all those guys. And yeah, now it's I don't know. It's weird to reflect on those years because it just seems like it was a different life. But God, I can't lie, it was pretty awesome, man.
That is actually pretty incredible. Defeating Final Boss in Halo 2, which was that was their game. Like they dominated that game.
Couldn't make any mistakes. Yeah, they were something special for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so Halo to you at that point, it's way more than a hobby. It seems like this is like your whole life, basically.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, pretty incredible. So what was it like competing on that roster, knowing like T2's energy? He likes to trash talk. Did like that have any influence on your Halo play when things got going?
Oh, dude, I fucking love Tom. Yeah, if see, the great thing about Halo 2 for me is, I was really known as, a slayer, sneaky sniper kind of guy.
Right.
And if I hit any clips, Tom was popping off. And when Tom pops off and he's next to you, you just feel all the confidence in the world. So you keep it rolling.
Yeah.
And and also being under, he was the team captain at the time. Learned so much, not only inside the game but outside the game. How he presented himself, to sponsors and to
right.
speaking on camera. I remember my first interview I ever had. I was so nervous, and Puckett asked me a question, and I think I said, "It's really what did I say? I don't even remember. It was bad. It's on
the internet."
It's on the internet somewhere. Yeah,
I did see it, but I didn't grab it for the sake of your own.
Thank you.
No,
it's hilarious. It's hilarious watching it, but I learned so much from Tom. And so yeah, I mean those guys inside the game we got along. We meshed perfectly. Outside the game, we were best buds. We did everything together.
Yeah. Yeah, so a hell of a way to kick things off for sure. I mean, so soon after came Halo 3. This game, you pulled off some plays that have forever gone down in history. Of course, you achieved your second event win at MLG San Diego 2008 while sticking with that same straight ripping roster. But what I really wanted to highlight were some of the plays you made with triggers down. This was with Hysteria, Best Man, and Tots. There were 2 plays that I want to show in particular. The first is this iconic 4-shot against Cloud. We're going to play it with audio first, and then we'll play it back a couple times and just kind of talk about it a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, the viewers can hear audio, but we can't. I'm not sure. If it's still playing, I think it's, yeah, I probably play with audio the first time. I just wanted to get that crowd pop off. And then, so you didn't show the nade before, too. That was a sick nade, by the way. Thanks. The bank nade. But, yeah. Man, like, when you hit a clip like this, and I mean, it is just kind of like a 4-shot outplay. It was like the combination of the crowd at the time, too. But, like, kind of what's going through your mind? Like, what would you say is your mindset in moments like this? There's got to be a bit of an internal narrative here. Like, there's a ton of confidence required in this game.
Yeah. I mean, what's going through my head in situations like that is, honestly, I'm not even thinking. Because, I mean, it's like split second. You have to make a call. I mean, most likely you're dead. Usually when one of the top pros has the first shot on you, you're not going to survive. But I was lucky in that situation just because I had height advantage. And so I knew that it is possible for me to win this battle if I jumped, because that battle is very tough when you're looking straight up. Right. You know, any Halo 3 battles, when someone has that height advantage, makes it difficult. Right. And I was very fortunate to get that Alpion on Cloud, because the thing is Cloud, you know, back in 2009, 2010, he had one of the best shots of all time. I mean, you know, you put Roy's BR up there, Cloud is right there as well.
Right. Yeah, but you're right. So, like, that, and even just the way, and I know we don't have it playing again, but, like, it was the way that you confidently jumped forward, too, to close the distance. So you're, like, above his head, and then you didn't over-flick the right stick on the last shot, which is the biggest thing. You kind of kept the reticle stable on his head. But you'll see, this is me just being, like, going into my crazy analysis mode.
No, I dig it. I dig it. It's, you know, and it really comes down to muscle memory too.
Right here, like, jumping in his face. Watch the last shot where you don't overflick to the right. You keep it stable in his head there, and you hold your cursor throughout that whole shot, and you get the burst in his face. I thought that was cool.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed with it now. Like right now,
you're like, wait a second.
Good job, neighbor. I like it.
Because he went right, but you didn't let yourself overflick. You kind of stayed steady. Anyway, this is just me nerding out. That's why I did your breakdown anyway, because that was also a sick play.
I like it. Thumbs, come on, help me out.
Yeah, do you play any of that now? Like at 29 now, is it you know, kind of a little bit more difficult to...
I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of LBRs at the LAN. A lot. Yeah. I had one bad one against Ola. I had a bad one against Rona, and I had a bad one against Snakebite. But the thing is, you know, there's a lot of talk about how the connection plays, and you know, the feeling of the game on certain setups on MCC LAN. And so it's a challenge for me to be like, oh, I destroyed him there because maybe they got blood. I don't know what it looks like from their screen, but I had some good ones, and I mean, I don't show emotion when I play, just because I try and stay as focused and calm as possible.
Right.
I don't want to get, you know, too amped, because I'm one of those guys, you know, the heart rate definitely starts beating pretty fast.
Right.
But, yeah, no, there were moments, the one I got on Ola and Snipe Down, I wanted to stand up and just yell and talk shit. But I also know at the same time, if I do that to a team, you know, players like them who feed off of that and start to really turn up after they hear, you know, someone come at them, it wasn't going to be a good look. So I kept to myself, but in my head, I was talking mad shit. It was good.
Yeah. Now I'm just imagining you hit that 4-shot, and then 10 seconds later, Ola on Twitter, he writes that tweet. Tweet that he wrote post-event.
If
he's right, though. He's right, but...
Yeah, if you watch it, after that Guardian Oddball win, you know, Ola stands up and he asks for a router reset. And I'm,
really?
And I'm over there chuckling on my mic talking to Ace. I was like, dude, I shit on him so bad. Even though it could have easily been, you know, the connection.
It could have been something weird with MCC. We'll talk about that in a bit, because as far as, you know, heart rate going up and stuff, this one would have made anybody's heart rate go up. There's this other play here, and this one's gone down as one of the most legendary Halo plays of all time. It's Game 5 in a tight series versus Dynasty. Oddball on Guardian. Clutch has the ball. You're about to lose the game till you make this play. Let's play the video.
Stay in the play. play, Wes. Get ready to play. S3, one shot. Neighbors no show. I didn't play it. He caught it.
You gotta jump off with that, man. Are you fucking kidding
S3, one shot. Neighbors no show. I didn't play it. He caught it.
You gotta jump off with that, man.
Are
you fucking kidding me?
All right, I hope you guys got to hear that because the audio, it was just so hyped. The fact that you jumped in there, you landed in that spot on the tree, you managed to grab just the last couple seconds to win it by 1 second. What is going through your mind at that time, man? Did you feel as incredible as the crowd did? The crowd was freaking out.
You know, here's the funny thing about this clip is I had no clue that it was to win the game. When it happened, you know, we've been in that scenario so many times because prior to these tournaments in 2010, we were at the LAN network landing with the top 6 teams. Right. And so we were playing 3 to 4 series a day. So a lot of times we have been in that scenario where it's coming down to the end, it's Guardian Ball, you spawn blue, what do you do? And we made the perfect push, in my opinion. You know, we all flew out. We focused who we needed to. You know, when I saw Clutch on the stump, I was like, all right, there's only really one thing I could do, and that's jump, try and kill him, and grab the ball.
Right.
I didn't mean to lift over. That was just part of like me hitting, you know, the stump and then just kind of bouncing in there. But when it happened, you know, when I lifted over at Camel and I jump off the map, I'm thinking to myself, God damn it, we're going to replay this game. It's going to be a tie game.
No way.
And then I see that extra second, and Bravo pops off. Jacob, like, everyone's going crazy. And if you watch it, I'm still sitting there like, oh, and then it registers. And yeah, the crowd, you know, I love that atmosphere at MLGs because the old MLG main stage, it had these, you know, these features and, you know, it's filled up with people that love watching competitive Halo. And so, yeah, when that happened, there was a pretty big pop off, and there's a picture. I end up standing up after I realized what happened. I was like, yeah, but you know, the thing is, it was for a 3-0, so it wasn't like this saved the series or anything like that. And you know, the one thing I also do love about this clip is, you know, it was against Clutch, and people give Clutch a lot of shit about it. It really there really wasn't much you could do. You know, and if you watch that from APG screen, like, you know, the intel that you see from his screen, he sees Tots top center. You don't even see me. So, like, it was a fortunate play. I give him shit about it all the time because he just recently moved out here. You know, he's the lead of the pro team. And so I love talking shit to him about that clip because he should have jumped off of it, you know? And he didn't. So he's going to hear about it for the rest of his life. And, that was a fun one. But you know what's also interesting is there was a Bold Matador player award given to a player after each event.
Okay.
I didn't get the award. MLG said no.
How do you get the? Oh, what is it?
They said it's for whoever had the most clutch play at the tournament.
What?
And I guess I was not bold enough.
You did the clutch play on Clutch himself.
Yeah. No, it still stings. It still stings a little bit. So.
Well, I mean, regardless, incredible play. That was number 1 on the top 10 Halo plays of all time YouTube video, by the way. If you didn't already know, yeah, he put that one as number 1, and he put all the text and everything to get you hyped up for it. It was a pretty sick clip. I know Moses retweeted it recently as well, just to get people thinking about Halo 3 again. But that's one of the reasons why Guardian Ball was so special in those moments, for sure. Yeah. So as far as Triggers Down goes, though, it seems like you really spent a lot of time with his team, and a lot of great practice and bonding went in at the LAN network. I know you mentioned that previously. It also must have been a good time to get close with Bravo as well, because I dug up some old footage on Bravo's channel, and the first thing that I saw was a 1v1 against Rob. Who's Rob? What's this all about? We'll play the video up in the background. He has to get 2 kills, and it's a 1v1. And all he needs is 2 kills, and he ends up with like -1 or something to 15.
So Rob, that's Robbie. That's Dr. Pepper Rob. God, I don't think I've ever actually seen this video. I'm not gonna lie. And he works for Dr. Pepper. He was one of the guys that I actually met him at a CPL Halo 3 tournament. He was just a big Halo fan, and he played Halo 3 religiously like us. You know, you could tell he's a little bit older than us at the time.
Right.
The guy, I fucking love Rob. He is the man. But he used to help set our rooms up at MLG events with what kind of like LAN practice. We'd have Dr. Pepper would fly in, I think 8 ViewSonics and 8 Xboxes, and he would go to the tournament early, and usually we'd have like a hotel suite because Dr. Pepper was balling and it made us feel like celebrities.
Nice. In
the gaming scene at least. And he would set up the setup for us. But he became one of, you know, my close friends. I mean, usually when I'm extremely drunk, he's one of my go-to guys that I call and talk with. I have a lot of love for him.
Yeah. And I mean, so like the LAN network, and I've talked to a lot of other pros about this because they all got that chance to be there. This is just the place to be. Like, this is the place to grind, isn't it?
Yeah, the LAN network was, if you were invited to the LAN network, you're one of the best Halo 3 pros. And it was the best practice of all time because it was like a mock tournament before the tournament. You know, we'd LAN about a week before the event, a week or two before the event, and Mr. P would usually fly out the top 6 teams, and, you know, we'd wake up.
He would fly out the teams.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mr. Product, damn, on top of having the house, he would fly. Like, this guy's incredible. Holy crap.
Yeah. And, we fly out the teams, and we do, like I said, 3 to 4 series a day. And then at the end, how did it work? I don't even remember exactly how it worked, but at the end we do a little tournament. And, it was kind of telling about, you know, who would go, you know, who was going to be the strongest team going into the event. And also, you know, for us, it was great because we usually won that tournament mainly because, you know, we're in Tots' basement, and Tots played so good in his basement. Like, the kid was like, he was like Pistola, Neighbor, Roy, Smackdown combined. Like, he was just like,
what? In his basement?
Yeah, in his basement. He was just, sometimes he was just feeling it, and it was so awesome to be a part of that. And so, like,
wow.
Yeah, winning that was great because we went into a lot of tournaments with a lot of confidence. I think it showed, you know, through our placings. You know, we didn't win an event, but, you know, we took top 3 pretty much every time we, you know, competed with that squad. So.
And it must have put you grossly ahead of the competition outside of the LAN house. Like, what the heck would you do if you didn't get? I mean, like, just getting that kind of practice time against the top teams, and then if you're like a top 16 team, let's say, like,
if you were not that house, if you weren't at that house, you were not cracking in the top 6.
Jeez, dude, that's rough. Yeah. Now, I was digging through the YouTube videos as well, and I found this little clip here, which is pretty jokes. It's you're making your way to San Diego Comic-Con 2011, and then this happens.
Like, thank God it was like if you look at that tree, thank God it was like it didn't have girth to it, because if I got slapped in the face with like a something girthy, my head was off.
That word choice is perfect.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I do remember that.
That's a concussion. You're right. That would literally take you out.
Yeah, we were on top of the Gunner Optics. They rented a tour bus.
Okay.
And I think we hung out with Soldier Boy at this thing. I don't remember.
Soldier Boy was there too. I saw some of these old videos.
Yeah. So, but we were just cruising in San Diego on top of this bus, and we wanted to do an intro video, and I got hit in the face with the tree. Yeah, it sucked.
I don't know if you guys in the chat noticed, but he looks exactly the same in that video that he does right now. That's 2011 versus 2019. That's perfect example right there.
You can't really tell, but I'm trying to grow a beard. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's who knows?
Work in progress.
Work in progress. It's 12 years work in progress.
I'll send you some hairs. I'm losing them here anyway. This is all prep work for the ultimate. Anyway, this is a whole other discussion. So San Diego Comic-Con, that looked like a fun time too, just kind of grabbing those old clips from back in the day. Now, I know you competed in Halo Reach as well. You guys had some good placings in Reach, a bit of 4 also. You were on teams like Believe the Hype, Straight Rippin'. You were back to Triggers Down once again as well. In Halo 4, you played at a few events, but overall, Halo was kind of going through a bit of a dark period. You, in the meantime, you had a different plan in mind. You were looking to join the 343 Pro team. What were your thoughts on Halo at the time? How did this opportunity come about, and what made you take that jump away from competing and into shaping Halo's future?
Well, for me, I personally, I'm not. So I've never been a big fan of Reach or Halo 4, but I still love playing Halo competitively.
Right.
So even though it's not my favorite Halo, it's still, I still enjoy playing it. The problem is that MLG at the time was really invested in StarCraft. And so they pretty much, or at least how it appeared to me was that they wanted to focus, specifically on StarCraft as their main title. We're going to put Halo in the basement. That's really what it felt like.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a big reason on why the Halo scene was kind of started to dwindle was because they just didn't put as many resources as they did back in the day. And on top of the fact that there were some people that really didn't enjoy playing the game, which at the time I couldn't really blame them. Like Reach, for example, with Bloom and the lack of Forge maps, it was so tough to want to play online and to compete. It was it just felt like there really wasn't much there to compete for, because like I said, also the resources that MLG was putting into StarCraft, they're also putting it into the players. So a lot of the sponsorships, those went to the StarCraft players instead of to the Halo players. So the money wasn't really there. And so then you start to think to yourself, especially when I think I was in my early 20s,
right,
at 22, 23, it's like, am I on the right path? Am I doing what I should be doing at this age? The income isn't as good as it used to be when I was 17.
Yeah.
And so it made me question a lot of things. And actually, I remember specifically, I was sitting in a restaurant with my dad and my sister, and I was just like, the thought of retiring, like, it totally like broke my heart, because I was like, that's all I was doing for however many years. And
you're still young too.
And I was young, but just the realization that it's probably over was really tough. And so I actually ended up going to a LAN at Bravo's house when he was working at 343 in Kirkland, and I met Quinn Del Hoyo there as well. And Quinn was, one of the lead multiplayer designers.
Yep. Gears as well.
Yeah, and he worked on Gears. And after we played some Halo 1, he was like, what do you think about, working at 343, being on a pro team type thing?
Right.
And I was like, hell yes. Like, one of my dreams, I used to write down my goals. One of my goals was to work at the studio that makes Halo. And
when you wrote down your goals, where would you write your goals?
Yeah, just on a piece of paper, and I'd put it up on my wall and just read it every day. Win an MLG championship,
Nice.
which I never did. I won an MLG tournament, but I didn't win a championship. Work at the studio, be a pro golf, all this stuff.
Nice.
And so that opportunity came about because of that Halo LAN. Quinn was like, "Hey, do you want to work at 343?" And immediately I was like, "Hell yeah! Are you joking me? To work on the next Halo title? Bring me aboard." So I actually started out as a QA tester. The pro team wasn't a thing at the time.
Sorry to interrupt you, Tony. Let's play up the sprint in the background. There we go. So this is episode 1 of the sprint called Balance. You can see Neighbor right there. They're working on the pro team. So continue.
Yeah. So I was a QA tester. So I was testing the game, looking for bugs. When I didn't really know what I was doing, because I never really tested video games before.
Right.
And so I got to learn that side of the gaming industry, which is, if you want to work in the gaming industry, you have to know how to see bugs and also log bugs. It is really important. So I ended up doing this for a little while. I ended up being a QA tester for a little while, and then they started bringing on other pros. They brought in Ghost Ayame, Dursky, Strongside ended up joining, and that we were QA testing, and then we transitioned to the pro team, and it was an awesome experience. Like it was so cool working with some of my best friends on a game, that we got to get feedback on. We didn't really necessarily get to say like, hey, we don't want sprint, cut it. Because trust me, I went to work every day.
How does that work?
For no sprint.
So was everybody like that? Would they just say we don't want sprint, and then who do you talk to, and what's the chain? Like, how does that work?
Our team was like really whenever we gave feedback, we wanted to make sure that all of our opinions were aligned. But we are classic Halo guys. That whole team. We started with the in Halo 1, Halo 2. So yeah, we tried to provide feedback in the sense of what we think would make the game better.
Right.
Obviously they didn't take some of our feedback, but they did take a lot. like being able to drop the flag.
Mhm.
Like that was something in Halo 4 that wasn't there. D-scope was another.
The D-scope's a
thing
huge one. Yeah.
we fought really hard for. And and it was such a privilege to work with the level designers, the MP designers, and just be a part of that process. Because to be honest, after working at the studio for like 3.5 years, they all love Halo. And they all want to make a good Halo game. It's just a challenge because our community has different expectations.
Right.
So I mean, that's why I'm really hoping for with Infinite, they do create a game that brings everyone together, and that appeases the whole fan base. So we'll see.
It's going to be so hard to do now because what they've done is they've brought kind of their version of Halo to a product that has actually been enjoyed by a whole new audience of Halo gamers. That being like Halo 5's advanced movement is actually pretty sick in some circumstances. I think when you take out the ground pound Spartan charge, I love the movement system in the game. It's a lot of fun and it's created this new community. But I also love classic Halo and there's that community, right? So now there's a clash and it's like, how do we get in this fine middle ground? We're treading on thin ice here. We please both sides. It's very difficult.
Well, and I think too is I don't know if it's finding the middle ground necessarily. I think it is, especially in this day and age, in my opinion, you have to make a game that the top streamers will want to play. And so someone like Summit, who's come out with what he expects from the next Halo. He had some video clip of him talking about Halo. Same with Ninja, Dr. Disrespect.
Yep.
I think you have to have those guys.
They all have that mindset. Yeah.
You have to have them on board, but also at the same time, if you could bring them on board and make them happy while also making the other fans happy as well, and that I think is a win. And I think that will definitely bring Halo back to that status of like, everyone's playing it. Are you getting on Halo tonight? Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. That Infinite trailer definitely got me extremely hyped, and I think they have a really good team. Especially if you look at the new pro team now, they have some really talented, smart guys a part of that squad. So
they
I think
definitely do.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I want to talk more about that trailer as well, but eventually you did leave 343. You had a tweet that you posted about that as well. Any thoughts that you're willing to share now moving on from 343? Are you happy that you stepped away? What have you been up to? Who are you today exactly?
I mean, I'm
because there was a bit of a down period between your absence and then Halo 3, right? So kind of
so I went back. I'm back in college.
Okay.
So I'm back in school. Right now, I actually took this quarter off because of the whole Halo 3 came back, because I think that's the last thing any of us were expecting, right?
Right.
But when I saw it, I was like, yeah, taking school off. But I got back into school, and that was a trip. Like, I mean, I'm doing like college 101 classes. I went.
How do you do school in your late 20s having not been there?
Oh, that's
because that I could see myself somehow. I don't want to do it, but if I ended up back in school, I don't know, man.
Oh, I have a class because now
you gotta like.
I like learning, and I enjoy learning and growing the brain. Right. But it is hilarious because I have people in my class that I've seen across from that are like 16 years old in running start, and I'm just like, you're my best friend. It's just like it's really a little. Yeah, my best friend in my college 101 class was a 15-year-old named Luke. Luke, if you're watching this, you're the man. It's definitely a trip, and it's challenging, but it's something that I want to get done. Outside of Halo, I want to be able to grow myself personally. And so, it's something that I plan on continuing. I'm taking 3 summer courses.
What are you studying?
Marketing.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So.
And you want to stick with gaming?
I don't know. Oh, you mean competing?
No, well, okay, we'll talk about competing, but I meant like as far as marketing goes in gaming, esports related, or just anything marketing.
I mean,
I know you're doing your golf and stuff too. I saw like a Twitter video of that. You've been doing a little golfing.
Yeah, I'm a avid golfer. I mean, I'd love to be in that space just because I've been in this environment for so long. I feel like I could help out a lot of companies, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I just go a totally different route, and I'm not even in the gaming space at all. I don't know what's going to happen.
I respect the grind and the will to learn, to grow the brain, man. I respect that. That's awesome. So like you said, Halo 3 is back, and you're back with it. So how have you been enjoying the game so far?
I mean, I love it. I love playing Halo 3 competitively. It's my second favorite Halo game to play competitively, Halo 2 being the first. But I mean, I'm enjoying it so much. The fact that I get to play, against people that I competed against 10 years ago or almost 10 years ago, is super cool. I think it's a little, I mean, it is different, playing Halo 3 at 60 FPS. The game is definitely has a different feel to it. But it's like riding a bike for me, to be honest. Like,
get right back into it.
Get right back into it and start, doing neighbor stuff. So
that's awesome, man. And we saw a lot of neighbor stuff just a couple weeks ago. We had DreamHack Dallas. You attended as a member of Falling Esports with one hell of a roster, last-minute roster.
Yeah.
Ace, Frosty, and Eco you were joined with. We got some playing up in the background as well. These are just highlights from the event, so you may or may not be in here. You guys were easily the highlight of DreamHack Dallas. A lot of eyes were on Infinite, of course, but you guys managed to steal that spotlight, landing second place overall in the event. The grand finals is interesting. It was kind of like Tox versus Tox V2 at the end. But first, I mean, tell me a bit about how that all ended up coming together, because I think originally Frosty and Eco were supposed to be on GMS, right? And then this was so last minute. How the heck did you practice?
Yeah, so Frosty and Eco, they were on GMS, and I don't know, it was a week and a half before the event. I had a phone call from Ace saying, hey, I talked with Eco and Frosty. They want a team, and I've made up my mind. We're going to do it. And Aaron is one of those guys where if he makes up his mind on something, on anything, whether it's what he wants to eat, what he wants to do, it's going to happen.
It's happening. Yeah.
Imagine if he has that imagination and he puts it out in the reality. And it's just one of those things where I said, okay. And as I thought about it, for me personally, I was torn because I want a team with Eco. Like, Eco and I have gone back. Like, we've been friends for a while now. He stayed at my place, me and my roommate's place for a couple months after he won the Halo 5 championships. Nice. Him and I are really close. And Frosty, obviously, when I was working at 343, he's one of those players where, people would compare Frosty to the neighbors or whatever, some of the commentators. Ghost would do that a lot because he hypes me up all the time. Nice. And so I was always a fan of him and Shotzi, and I've always pictured dude, it'd be so sick to team with them or even play against them because I want to play against the best, even though, I wasn't at the time. And so when the team change happened, it really kind of sucked because I think Trippy and Penguin
they're amazing players.
They're insanely talented. And I remember watching them at the UGC St. Louis. They lost to Reciprocity. I think it was either 3-0 or 3-1, but the games were really, really close. And the takeaway I had,
Halo 5 squad too. That was
they came from Halo 5, and the takeaway that I saw from that series was dude, these guys are so individually talented. If they kind of have the right mindset behind things, I think the sky's the limit with those guys.
Yeah.
And so when Aaron told me that, it's shit. Okay, so we just dropped two of our teammates a week and a half before the event, and now they're kind of screwed. And I was known kind of as the team killer back in the day.
I've heard. I watched some YouTube videos.
I used to drop a lot of people. And so that's one of those things where it's I don't really care what people think about me, but just doing it at that time frame sucked. If this was a month before, let's go that route. But so I was very torn on it, but it ended up working in our favor. Obviously, placing second, making it to the championships. We had a really, really close series with Infinite. It was 3-2.
Right.
I think that series really gave us the confidence of hey, we could do this, because going into the tournament, they were the number one team online. We lost to them pretty much every single qualifier.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it was super frustrating. And so, winning that was big, I think, for our confidence. And I mean, I can't say more enough about this team because I love playing with every single one of them. I learned a lot. Frosty and Eco, they have, I mean, even Ace, people think of Ace as a goofy guy. When it gets down to competing, He wants to win, and he wants to win back. He wants to beat you to the ground.
Man, he was doing these lie down on the floor meditations that I've never seen him
The
do.
Wim Hof. Yeah, the Wim Hof.
What's
That's
that?
right. So he has me do it too, and I've been doing it.
How is it? Is this
just
like
YouTube,
revolutionary?
if you want to try it out, YouTube Wim Hof.
I wish I got a picture.
Essentially, what it is it's a breathing meditation type state that you put your body in. I can't really explain it that well. I would just recommend you guys research it and try it out. But yeah, it's one of the things that he's turned me on to. But yeah, going back to like the Eco and Frosty mentality, those guys are some of the most competitive guys that I've ever teamed with, and they hate losing.
Right.
Hate it.
Right.
And so when we play, you know, there's mistakes being made. You hear, you know, you get called out. There's no bullshitting.
They both call you out?
Oh yeah. I mean, everyone calls that, you know, everyone.
Yeah, they'll
call everyone out, but it's just like one of those teams where it's like, we want to be the best. And I think this tournament was a good example of what we're capable of.
Right.
And I think just with time, we're going to be even better.
Yeah, I mean, like, just shockers for the event, for sure. You guys killed. I mean, it was great on paper, and you followed through. And doing it last minute, like, I think there was a point, I don't know if it was like an interview or something, but somebody said that you guys were kind of learning as you went. Like, you were starting to feel each other as
100%.
the event. Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, you know, in 2010, you had to be able to do everything. But when you have teammates that are so good at controlling power weapons, and you're the guy that usually does that, you're kind of like, oh shit, what do I do? Like, what are my hands doing right now? You know, because like I was like, God,
what's my role now?
Like I remember specifically against Reciprocity on Nero's Team Slayer, Frosty had hands down one of the best games I've ever seen. He went 12-4. That was his stats. 4 deaths, right, against Reciprocity. And I'm just thinking this whole time, like he literally had sniper the whole game. He never lost it. Hit every shot he needed to hit. And the whole time I'm just holding forwards, like, you know, trying to be that guy that like leads the charge. I'm like, this is so weird. I've never done this before. This is odd. But yeah, it's just one of those things. We continue to grow and learn off each other and how we play and what we needed to do to be successful. And yeah, it was definitely like I feel like a key, you know, has unlocked all of our potential. And definitely look forward to the London event for sure.
Man, it definitely is wild seeing Frosty step away from Halo, play Call of Duty, pick up the sticks, pick up a sniper, and just rip faces off like nobody's business, dude.
I don't know how he does it because
I want him on this freaking show, and he won't come on this.
No, this is what's crazy is he plays Call of Duty for hours,
Right.
and he's using the PlayStation controller. He literally he'll end his practice. I remember he played one of his Pro League matches. He wins. He comes on like an hour later for a Halo stream, and he's just dominating. I'm just like thinking to myself, like, what kind of gift did God give this man? Like, are you joking me? If I play on a PlayStation controller like 2K, I can't press like the right buttons for like a day. And this guy just like instantly flips the switch and just starts shitting on people. I'm just like, man, dude, it's my teammate. I love it.
It feels good to be behind that for sure.
It does.
Yeah. And by the way, I mean, with a second place finish like that, does that bring back the competitive fire for you? Or do you still say you're just as competitive as you were back in the Halo 3 days? I know you got a lot of other responsibilities, conflicting notions, things like that. But I mean, that second place, that will make you want to continue competing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely lit a fire, but more so than anything, like I said, it unlocked something within me because, you know, after taking years off of playing competitively, you know, I started to question myself all the time. Like when I'd watch the tournaments, like, do you think I could hang with, you know, these new up and comers?
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, we're not playing Halo 5, but, you know, their skill level still translates over pretty darn well.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think this is really telling that, yeah, you know, I still have, you know, I'm 29 years old, but I still have, you know, the capabilities of performing at an extremely high level. I want to win. And, you know, I think it's definitely possible and doable with this squad. So.
And I hope we get to see some more wins because we got 2 more events coming out that I'm sure you're excited about. We've got the Red Bull Rise Till Dawn in Chicago. Will you be attending? Who's your duo?
I will be attending. So this is a kind of messed up situation, but so I initially texted Eco if you wanted to do the 2v2 because him and I were like, you know, a duo for Halo 2s, all this stuff. And he didn't get back to me. So, you know, me being like the guy that just wants a teammate, I call Ace. I'm like, hey, Ace, let's see. And he said, yeah, okay, let's do it. Kevin got back to me the next day, like, hey, man, yeah, I'm in. Yeah. And so I was just like, God, yeah. I have to make a decision.
It's all about how you descent. You gotta.
I'm not gonna lie, I
desensitize
kind of
whatever it is
shaded
you got.
Ace. Yeah.
No, that's not how you do it, man. Come on.
I know it was. Yeah. I feel bad about it, but at the same time, I know Aaron's gonna get a good teammate and he's gonna compete.
Yeah.
He's gonna do really well. But yeah, I'm going with Eco, and we're looking to practice here pretty soon, and hopefully win this guy. Because it's a perfect tournament for me. I mean, because like if you think about it, it's in Chicago.
Right.
They're 2 hours ahead, I think, or maybe 3 from where I live. And the tournament starts at 8 p.m. Like that's when like us gamers wake up over here in the West Coast.
That's what I was saying earlier.
So
yeah.
I'm like, it's gonna be like at 2 a.m. when it's like the finals. It's like lunch for me. I'm gonna be shitting on all these kids. It's gonna be great. It's gonna
I
be
want to
awesome.
see it, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. And then okay, so we have that, and then following that we have Face It London. That's a little farther away. That'll be a little more difficult maybe with the time change and whatnot. Apparently you were stoked to go to this event for multiple reasons. As a tweet here it says you're excited to compete and use Tinder on I can't read it all. It says on foreign soil, I think. Okay. Now I have more questions. Now I want to know how the Tinder grind is, because are you using Tinder often? What do you think about the app? Have you had some success stories?
You know,
don't have to go too in detail.
I've had some success stories. I actually dated a girl for over 2 years from a Tinder match.
Nice.
Fell in love. Everything was great. Not about it anymore. But yeah, no, Tinder is I think it's a great app. Everyone should download it if you want to meet someone. I'm endorsing them right here, right now.
I know. I realize now that we're talking about it, I'm like, what are we talking about? Are we trying to advertise dating apps?
No.
I just wanted to talk about, because I use Tinder too. I use a couple apps. There's Tinder, there's Bumble, there's Coffee Meets Bagel, there's Hinge. I sound like a freak now, but there's multiple similar dating apps.
No, it's just, to use it on foreign soil. Like I'm a fan of girls with accents, so like
Let's go.
I'm trying to meet some people. Yeah.
I mean, look at this guy. Man, you're cute. You got no problem. I'm sure you got some fire pictures on there. You'll be okay.
Yeah, I got to update, but yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, so you're looking for 2 wins in London, basically, two championship wins, both with the ladies.
I'd be very happy with 2.
Yeah. So as far as the event goes, though, I know we're talking about this killer roster, but Frosty's in COD, so I'm sure that's got to create some complications, and maybe you can't reveal all the information yet, but what's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know. So Brad might not be able to go. I mean, I'm still like hoping and crossing my fingers, but if not, we do have some backups, and I don't know if I can share that information because nothing's official.
Okay.
Nothing's been confirmed, and I don't want to give you guys like, yeah, this is gonna happen. It's not the case. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, obviously, like once we know exactly what the squad's gonna be, we're gonna make sure it's announced and represent the Fallen Squad. Which, by the way, I haven't talked about, but our sponsor for this last event has been very helpful, very accommodating.
How's that been going? Yeah,
it's been good because I don't know if you saw, there was some drama. We were actually signed with Team Elevate.
Right.
And a few days before the tournament, they actually dropped us from their squad, which is totally fine and everything. But, not being able to represent an org kind of sucks. It just reminded me of like, it's back in the 05 days of just going to a tournament with jeans and a sweatshirt, which I did wear, I guess, at the tournament. But, they came through and they supported our team. And I can't say enough about them. They're great people to work with. So
yeah, he might be in the chat, but big shout out to Venom. Who's,
Venom,
putting a lot of work in.
Man. He's the man. I speak to him almost every day.
Man, he's been killing it with Fallen Sports.
Yeah, he's been doing his job.
Let's go. I'm hoping for big things from you guys. I know Frosty's kind of he's got Call of Duty, he's got other priorities and whatnot, but hopefully he makes a comeback, and if not, hopefully the replacements that you guys have are just as excellent.
The replacements are good.
They're good. I've heard they're pretty amazing, but it's under wraps. Venom, we've been talking. He said they're pretty amazing, but he won't tell me just yet. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, this is going to be exciting, no doubt. So we've got 2 events, 2 great things to look forward to, and then we have other big things to look forward to. And I know, guys, in the chat, we've got a Q&A right after this. We're almost there. If you have already been asking questions, great. Feel free to start asking questions if you haven't already. If you have anything you want to ask Neighbor, this is the best time to do so. But before we get there, let's talk about Halo Infinite. Did you watch the reveal trailer? Tony, play up some of it. Let's watch it, talk about it. We'll do a play with no audio. Man, tell me about this. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I watched the trailer, and the first thing that popped into my mind, honestly, was Avengers.
Avengers.
Endgame.
Okay.
Wait, no, Infinity War. When the Guardians of the Galaxy's, run into Thor and he smacks against the window.
Right.
So I thought about that, and then my roommate's like, dude, Master Chief is now Princess Leia because, similar thing happened. She's in space. Boom, bring her in. But with that being said, once they showed the suit, I was like,
this man.
Yeah, Sparth is the art director at 343. And my God, he did an incredible job. Like Chief is looking green, he's looking thick.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks great. Yeah, no, I love it. I love this trailer. I think it's good. I don't think it tops, my favorite, the Starry Night Sky or whatever the heck it was called, but the Halo 3 one.
Right.
But it's definitely, it got me hyped. It's kind of a bummer though, because I was also expecting gameplay.
Yeah.
Because of the leak or whatever it was from the Xbox magazine saying that there was going to be gameplay shown.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It was, I think a lot of people, enjoyed seeing the Chief back and hearing Cortana's voice. Definitely a lot of hype,
Hearing the shield recharge sound, which is like definitively Halo 1. Like, look at those hands.
I'm not going to lie to you. If that's the HUD, I love it.
Yeah, it looks nice.
If that's what the gameplay HUD is, I love it. There's no radar. It's just a bar shield and health. Like that is
no radar.
That's hot. That's hot.
Yeah. Looks freaking sick. Look at that man's back. Like, he's clearly like twice the size of this dude too, though. And that's how it should be. I think just they nailed everything about the art direction and the sound here. And just the biggest thing is it sends a message. It sets this precedent for what to expect going forward. I mean, what do you think? Like, what do you think they're going to do with it? They still have to innovate as far as multiplayer goes. I feel like there still needs to be innovation in certain areas. They could take it back. How do you think they would be able to innovate it while taking it back at the same time?
That's a good question. I've never really been a big campaign guy. But
campaign's going to slay. I think that's like a big
I think it's going to be awesome.
Even.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. I really don't know the direction they're going or what they're going to do. All I know is that the team that's working on the game now, I have full confidence in. I think it's going to be really good. The leadership at that studio with Bonnie, Kiki, Chris Lee, they all know what they're doing, and I think that it's going to be a solid game. I really look forward to it. And it's awesome being a fan again, because now it's like everything's mysterious. Like, I get to wait in line at midnight. Like, I'm actually stoked.
Yeah, and I mean, as a guy who was previously on the pro team and now they have another pro team, do you think I feel like they've learned a lot? Has there been like a big transition between like then pro team and now, as far as, no, it's the same type of thing?
No. I think they learned a lot from our pro team. We were not our pro team was definitely an experiment. Okay. I think within the studio that at some points I don't think they knew what to do with us. Okay. And so I think that pro team is definitely much more refined, and there are a lot of, they hired some of the best, Clutch, Assault, Niquin, Hines.
Yeah, L-Town.
It's out here.
Really smart.
Baby J.
Yeah, and he's good on PC too, from like Counter-Strike.
Yeah,
so they need to get a mix. Yeah.
So I mean, I think they have just a great group of guys that can really help shape the game in a good way for competitive gamers. And then on top of that, everything that Tashi and Elizabeth has done so far with the grassroots tournaments. I mean, they're killing it as well. And I think that there's nothing more. There's a lot to look forward to. And I'm also, I'm just really optimistic about the state of competitive Halo, and I think it's going to be good.
I'm happy to hear that, man. I've got a lot of optimism coming into this too, especially just kind of seeing excitement from some of the biggest personalities. Like you said, you got to get Summit, you got to get Ninja, you got to get Dr. Disrespect on board. You get those guys on board. That's easily just massive, audiences of people that would never be exposed to it. The Fortnite kids are like, what the heck is Halo? They're going to come in and start to get excited about it too.
Sure.
I mean, as far as like advancing, innovating the game, I've been thinking, like, is there a way, because what Halo 3 did from Halo 2 to Halo 3, instead of changing mechanics with the Spartan, they changed the environment around the Spartan. They did things like equipment, where you throw out like a radar jammer, you got like a boost or whatever, like the launch pad, right? And none of that was used in competitive play. It was taken out. But could stuff like that be modified and implemented in a better way? You know what I mean? Like, if you throw a launch pad and it just snaps out nice and quick and clean, and it sends you at a lower, more controlled height, and it's like, I don't know, like, could that be used? Or like, I'm just thinking, how can you change the environment around the player without doing like heavy modifications to the mechanics of the Spartans?
Sure. I mean, that
having innovation there, I don't know.
I think that's a great question, and it's a question that doesn't even like come across in my head anymore, just because I don't work there, and it's something I don't.
Happens.
Yeah, I'm just more so looking forward to whatever product they put out. I'm looking forward to experiencing that for the first time, and then also learning it. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But I'm sure the example that you use. Yeah, I think anything is really especially with some of the gameplay iterations that they had in the past. There's definitely ways to enhance and maybe make it competitively viable. Because equipment, for example, it wasn't one in competitive play.
It wasn't, yeah.
But if you think about it, like how Counter-Strike is, like with flashbangs and smokes, sure. I'm sure there's a way that they could implement it into Halo. But maybe that's discussions being had currently. I have no clue.
I'm sure there's a lot of discussions being had, a lot of back and forth. Hopefully they get to try out a bunch of things and just see what works best. And in the end of the day, like you said, I'm kind of taking an open-minded approach to it. I like Halo 5. I like Halo 3. Whatever it is, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to break it down. So I'm good for that.
Hey, you're a true Halo fan.
Thanks, man. As far as what the audience is saying here in the chat, let's jump into our Q&A and see what the people have to ask you here. We've got I'm terrible reading names, guys. It's MXNGINA, which looks like Gina on the end, mixed Gina. I don't know.
Love that tag.
Yeah. Who does Neighbor like to compete against as a competitor other than Snipe Down?
Roy. Easy, 100%.
Roy?
I'm not going to lie. So at this tournament, we ended up beating Reciprocity after they reverse swept us. And by the way, after we got reverse swept in the pool play, I think Aaron said on the interview with Lottie that it didn't really mean anything. We just needed to win our pool. I was fucking livid because I played like absolute shit the last couple games, and losing to Roy and Snipe Down and Launch and Ola, that is personal to me. I fucking hate losing to those guys.
Why?
And so just because we used to team, there was some things that were said, and throughout the years we're just uber competitive, and neither of us like to lose to each other, right? Like, if Lunch or Roy lose to me, they're fucking not happy. And vice versa. So the fact that we're able to 4-0 them, especially after, they had some really hot series against the teams that they beat. And we're coming off this, this series with talks that lasted, which felt like forever because a lot of the games went the distance.
Right.
To 4-0 them, I cannot tell you. That was like a tournament win for me. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was fucking stoked. Again, I didn't show emotion, but I was so elated, and it had to do also with the fact that at UGC St. Louis, we actually lost. They knocked us out of the tournament, and before that, there's an interview. Snipe Down talk shit, Roy talk shit, and I'm sitting there with my headphones on, like I couldn't really say anything because I knew our team probably wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
Like our team going into that event was really unprepared, and God, and it's still like thinking about it, I fucking love it. And I saw Roy on Sunday night, and I talked so much shit to that.
Oh no!
I mean, it's all in good fun, right? Like all in good fun. Like, God, dude, it was. I love beating those guys.
I love that these rivalries still exist, that you can go all the way back, because this is stuff that people have missed forever. You know what I mean? Like, when I look at those old YouTube videos, like the Neighbor, there was the tribute video that we had as the preview. People in the comments are like, man, I miss these good old days in Halo, or just it's a shame that people missed out on this version of Halo. You know what I mean? So like seeing some of these like not ancient, but like legendary, I guess, rivalries come back and still be present, I think is really nice to see. So that's just cool. As a viewer, keep it up. Stormy V2, what's your favorite moment of being at tournaments?
My favorite moment. I mean, that's tough to say. I mean, honestly, just going to the events and being with your teammates in person and competing with them, And competing against the people that you play against online is pretty special in itself. I mean, that's one thing I loved when I was younger, when I was competing, is I got to fly it to different states, as a teenager, and meet friends that I talked with every single day online on Xbox Live. And so that's really special. I mean, obviously winning a tournament is extremely special. There are a lot of really memorable moments that have been created through, my experiences at events that, I'll cherish forever.
It would be really hard to probably identify just like one specific thing.
One's almost impossible.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I mean, as a teenager traveling around to play video games, damn dude, like you were killing it back as a teenager, man. And I mean, still are. But hey, Skills says, neighbor, if you could team with anyone right now, who would you want to team with?
If I could team, I mean, obviously my team, but anyone outside of my team, it would definitely be, Lunch Roy.
So you still want to team with him again?
Oh yeah, no, I'd love
to fight with him than against him.
I would love to team with him. Like, we hate playing against each other, but I'd love to team with them.
You don't have to worry about playing against each other anymore.
Yeah, team with Snapdown is something I've always wanted to do.
You never have you?
Never teamed with Snapdown. I mean, we teamed, I think, in one of the All-Star events.
A 2v2 or something, right?
No, for the MLG All-Star events back in the day, I think they put Rona on the West Coast team. And so I'm pretty sure him and I were on the squad for that, but we've never actually competed in, tournament together, like an actual tournament. So, he's one of those guys I'd love to play with.
That's a classic rivalry right there with the interview, game interview. You acted like you were scared of him. Lethal copied you back in Halo 5 as well with the same thing. Yeah.
He's my little bro.
Yeah. Okay. So we also have Stormy V2. How did you compare this LAN to Xbox 360 H3 LAN? Does it feel the same?
It's tough to say because I haven't played Xbox 360 Halo 3 LAN in a while. I mean, I know it feels different. It feels the MCC version feels much more fast paced, obviously because it's at 60 frames per second. So there's some jumps, like for example on bottom gold on Guardian to top
it's not
gold.
The same.
That jump is definitely harder on the MCC, and the time is different compared to like 360. It's like you kind of botch the jump, but still hit the jump.
Yep.
So those are kind of like the differences. On top of the fact that I don't know, but personally I feel like the auto aim's different.
There's two different types of aim too. There's like modern and the classic.
Well, there's that, but it also feels like, to me personally, there's more magnetism. Outside of red reticle range. I don't know if that's a thing or not. Who knows? But that's just my take on it. I don't know.
Okay. Eric Airkick. Sweet. How will you play Halo Infinite? Will you play Halo Infinite professionally? Also, what about Reach tourneys until that game releases?
Okay, that's a loaded question.
Right.
Because I honestly haven't thought about if I play Reach competitively. I mean, I'm assuming, it would obviously be on the PC. And I feel like I do have the skills to transfer over from controller to mouse because I do play Counter-Strike.
Nice.
I'm a big League of Legends guy, so I'm comfortable with the mouse in the hand and the fingers on the WASD.
Yeah.
But it's all dependent on what happens. It's definitely a big hypothetical because if that's where the HCS decides to lean towards Reach tournaments, I mean I'm sure I'll give it a shot. And if that's what we're planning until the launch of Halo Infinite, then so be it. Like I said, I'll give it a shot. There's definitely nothing. I'm not saying I won't play it, but we'll see.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I feel you. I think it'd be weird if they went 100% PC. You're kind of axing out your legacy there. It would, and I understand crossplay, but then eventually crossplay might become just mouse and keyboard because
maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting too because if you think about the end of competitive Reach. There were a lot of Forge maps that were built for the competitive scene. So I don't know if that's something that they still have,
right
in the game or if that's in that playlist. I'm not sure. So it will definitely be interesting because Reach is one of those games that launched with terrible arena maps.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 2, and they had to be forged. Like Zealot, you had to put sandbags in the lift so you don't go into outer space.
Right.
And Countdown, they had to add different, forged pieces so it was better competitively. But besides that, you really didn't have anything.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting for sure. And I mean, on top of the fact that you improve the FPS and you get rid of that motion blur, things could change there. And we know for a fact that it is the like competitive version of Reach, so the no bloom, no sprint version that you'll be playing in the hardcore playlist. Yeah, that's the plan there, is to play the hardcore version from the get-go. So that's nice.
That's a big win,
nice.
343. I like
that's
it.
a big win.
I like it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Skill. Yeah. Sorry, what's that?
I was just gonna say, I hate Bloom. Bloom sucks. It's terrible. So.
Inconsistency with your shot when you land nice shots like that. Nobody wants to see that in a game like Halo.
Felt like a coin flip every time.
Yeah, you don't want that. I completely agree. Skills. Are you going to stream more often?
The plan is to stream more often. The problem is there's a couple things with streaming. So, number one, I don't have the best internet. And so when I stream and try and play a game, it noticeably feels worse.
Yep.
And so when I play when I play Halo matches, it just feels like stuff I'd hit, or like the reason why I die, I just mentally have it like clocked in as like, it's because I'm streaming. It's something I like doing. I enjoy doing it. Skills. I'll start streaming. I got you. I'll start streaming. I got you.
Well, I feel you though, man. And I'm nowhere, like, I'm not a pro, so I'm not going to pretend that I know on that level. But like when I stream, I feel it, man. It feels different. It's hard to play as well. It's coupled with the fact that people are watching you with expectations. And if you don't hit something, then it's very easy to get in your own head and be like, fuck, like I'm not playing the way I want to be playing that. And I can't have fun if I'm not playing the way I know.
I think that's actually a good practice tool for players that kind of like crumble under the circumstances of like knowing that people are watching. You have to have a different mentality when that does, when you're in those situations.
It definitely toughens you up for sure. If you can go through that and keep a positive mindset, stay energized and keep entertaining people, then I think that does set a good precedent in that regard.
Sure.
Belastin, D0, do you want sprint in Halo Infinite or no?
Personally, no, I don't want sprint in competitive, the competitive arena. Now, in regards to like something like if I want to play big team or even campaign, I don't mind it. Sprint to me has always been the biggest issue in terms of how it breaks the core gameplay mechanics for what makes Halo Halo. And obviously it started with Reach, and even when it came out with Reach, I hated it. Because that mental timer that you have when you see someone, I'm going to use a map that everyone knows, Sanctuary, for example.
Right.
When you see someone run across their bonfire, the little window that leads to sword in the middle of the map, and you see them run towards the courtyard, you have, like, if you're an experienced Halo player, you have a mental timer of where they could be or where they can't be. So then you could throw a pre-nade at your jump up. And if you don't see that, if you don't see him there, then you know that maybe he went back to their court, or he's like in this area. Now, the thing with Sprint is Sprint introduces that other variable, that unpredictable variable of, all right, you just saw this guy cross here, but he sprints, at this speed, at this different speed, and now he's in this area. So it's like, it's less predictable, I guess. And that's something that I think is important, because that's what the top Halo players really use to show the difference of skill gap between high level player and average player.
Interesting. Yeah, you're correct. It kind of, instead, you're not really thinking about that as much anymore, and you're kind of just, I guess, fighting for a better position. Something kind of changed in that. With Halo 5, it opens it up even more. It's just there's like a million different routes to get places, and it's very quick. But then it doesn't really become as much about that as much as it is just being the guy who can assert more pressure on the enemy team and being, better at those specific things. So it changes the dynamic, which ends up being fun in its own right. But I understand how it destroys that kind of original core experience that people were used to and know and love.
And on top of that, the escapability, I think, is another issue, because Halo has always been about who has the best shot, from Halo 1 through 3. And you kind of lose that because of the fact that, if you're down, one burst or whatever, you're out, you're running, so I think, in my opinion, it adds a lot of negatives to the MP arena experience, but at the same time, I think others would argue with me because, the people that started playing, Reach as their first Halo game, they could say, well, this, and this. So it's just my opinion.
Yeah. No, you're right. And it could go on and on in circles. I mean, with Halo 5, you could thrust to get out of there, or some of the best players won't thrust. They'll save the thrust till the end of the fight or whatever it is. Like they'll find, other advanced ways to navigate those situations. But you are correct that if in Halo 3, if you get hit by that first shot, you have no choice. Like in certain scenarios, you have no choice but to turn around and just assault that man with confidence and try to win that fight. And you can't really run away from many situations.
Yeah, map position.
You're down. You're down.
Map position is extremely important.
Yeah. So and that's why it's becomes so incredible when you have that play against Cloud when you should be dead, but you manage to outplay the guy, something like that with with a crazy shot. Star 9117. What platform will you be on for Infinite?
Xbox. I mean,
Xbox,
I'm an Xbox guy, so I guess is Scarlet the new one?
That's apparently 8K 120 FPS. It's gonna blow our minds.
Whoa! Yeah, no, I'm there. Scarlet, I guess. Xbox Scarlet. All right.
I got no aimbot says, are you gonna make another real life montage with Furion? Furion?
Yeah, Furion. Who's the editor? I've talked about it so many times. Of the possibility of a montage V2 coming out, because I don't know if the majority of the Halo, I think about Halo fans have seen it. It's one of the cringiest montages of all time.
Okay.
And at the time, I was like, dude, this is the coolest. I look so cool. I'm driving a car. I'm making out with this hot chick. Like,
oh no, I haven't seen.
I mean, the mindset wasn't like, dude, I'm gonna make myself look like the coolest person of all time. But it was like, I have a dinner scene with my special significant other, and it's like candle lit, and it's pizza on like paper plates. Like, it's dumb shit, right? But at the same time, like, it is cringy, and I can't watch it. Like, I honestly, that is one of those videos on YouTube that if I see it, I just like, I like clamp.
How did I not find this when I was doing my research? I wish I found this.
Thank you for not finding it.
Yeah. Oh man.
And if you haven't seen it, Alex, I recommend you do not watch it.
I don't know. You got me tempted to go check it out now for sure. So there's a chance that you might try to do another real life, or you're.
Yeah, no, it's definitely If I was going to do it over again, and make a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a possibility. We'll see.
Tyson Rutschman 7 says, did I miss the controller segment? Have him show his controller if he has it. That's fair. I didn't actually bring it up. I had like 18 questions for you, and I was like, we'll just go to the Q&A, and I'm not going to include absolutely everything. But what I typically do is, do you have your controller with you? Can you show it to us?
Yeah.
And how do you play on your controller? Are you clawing? Do you have paddles?
Okay, so I have a basic controller. It's just a black Xbox. Fun fact, at the DreamHack tournament, my controller did break on Friday. So it broke Friday night, the USB cord. And so my buddy Kevin Clutch actually provided me with his controller. So this is his controller, and I love it. It's amazing. It's just a normal Xbox One S controller. And how I play is I shoot with my middle finger, and I have my pointer finger either here or it's here on the bumper. So I've always semi-clawed because I started, like I said earlier, with Halo 1. And if you guys remember way back then, when I was 11 years old, I was playing with a Duke controller, and I could not for the life of me press the A, B, X, Y buttons with my thumb because the controller was just too big. And so that's how I compensated for the lack of small hands at the time with clawing. So.
But it almost feels more natural to claw on the Duke than like any other controller. Like I went back and I held it because they have the remakes of the Duke, and I tried clawing on it. I was like, no wonder people clawed. Like this actually feels good. Like it makes so much more sense.
That controller is like a football in your hands. Like it is big.
It's the distance between the stick and the buttons too is nice. Like you don't feel like your hands are getting like real close.
Well, I mean, it's the controller for men, Alex. Like the shit we're playing on now is for kids. So it's like.
But and I mean, if you let me see your thumbs on the controller, like, 'cause this is some weird shit that I've been thinking about. But what I noticed is a lot of players who are really good at Halo actually have like long thumbs. Like if you look at like Snipe Down, and you don't really, you're more of the wider shorter
Also,
thumb. You know what I mean? And I'm not.
I've thought about this a lot as well. So
Right.
thumb placement is interesting. If you look at where people place their thumbs
Right.
on the sticks, like some people have it on the inside, like SK Halo God, he had it on the inside.
Okay.
Some people, like me, I have it on the outer edge.
You
and
only
some
on the
people-
outer edge when you play. You're not
Yeah,
even
only on
fully
Yeah,
right.
on the outer edge.
So your
And so-
your ability to hit like really fine tuning, like you know what I mean. You get like a lot of precision there. It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And so, but I really personally like. It comes down to personal preference. It's like one of those things like you're not going to shoot like Kobe. You're not going to have the same forward as Ray Allen when you shoot a three. It's
Right.
really what is most comfortable for you and just owning that. So
Yeah. Do you think about whether or not that position, whatever thumb position that you feel most confident in, where you hit the best shots, do you ever think about like if your thumb slips off of that in certain scenarios? Like I have a bad habit sometimes when I go for the melee in Halo 5, where my thumb kind of slips off its natural position when I hit the melee, and then I realize for that split second I'm not quite ready for the next shot. I don't know if you ever. Because if you sacrifice that form, you lose confidence, you miss those shots. That's what I've been thinking about is like, is there any point where you sacrifice that ultimate, most confident form with your thumb on the right stick?
I don't know if I've ever gone like that deep into and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I think it's
not a bad
important
thing
to think
because it is important to think about like, okay, in this situation, I could have killed him if I did this, but it's also looking at the situation in a different way as well. Because putting yourself in situations in Halo, there are always different options, right?
Right.
And so it's like maybe it's like instead of going top beyond Foundry and going for the melee on the guy, I throw a nade and jump to the side, and do something like there's just different ways to look at it, and I don't really think it's the best to look at like the technical aspect of like what your hands are doing. More so, it's important to think about like, all right, what's my play here? What's the most optimal play? What puts me in a position to get that, easy double kill with being in less danger, stuff like that.
Right, right. Which, in the end of the day, that's the most important thing to think about. But that's because you played the game so much, and you've gotten to the point where all of this other stuff, the like mechanical stuff that you're doing, is muscle memory. It's happening in the background. You're very confident in what you do. So I guess it depends on where you're at with Halo. If you're newer to it, you want to try to think about these mechanical things that these players are doing naturally. So you can get better faster, and then once you get to that muscle memory, then you just remove that. You think about the strategy of the play in the moment, whatever it is.
Yeah. And the perfect example of that real fast is I tried to get back into Halo 5 and compete in that even though I wasn't allowed to. And I was consciously thinking about like, should I have should I thrush shoot there, or like should I shoot crouch thrush? Like I was consciously thinking about technical stuff for that game, but it's one of those things too. Like you hit it right in the head. It's not muscle memory for me. So like for players like that, sometimes you do have to practice your skills, and there are a lot of different ways to do that, like whether it's octagon or playing free for all.
Right.
So I recommend those players hit the sticks on those maps for sure.
Thank you for that question, Tyson, because that actually brought forth a pretty cool discussion. That's actually kind of cool. Thank you. So SM Ducker says, UGC, any up and coming new players to look out for?
Up and coming new players. I mean, I don't know really, because if we're talking about free for all, obviously the guy that won was it Ugly Monkey?
Oh, Empty Ugly Monkey or something?
Yeah. I mean,
I've seen that tag around. Yeah.
Yeah. Free for all. That guy's. I watched him play the championship match and he just dominated. But in regards to like 4v4, it's tough to say because I think the top 8 teams, they're all pretty much, people that you'd want to look out for. I guess like the Infinite squad is still a squad that I think can really turn it on. I mean, I think Falcated, Shotzi, Boo Boo, Tusk, like those guys are all
still young, very young.
Well, 3 of them were Halo 5 guys, right? And then Tusk is like kind of like the MCC kid that has shown that he can compete with the best of the best.
It's like Gabriel in Fantasy.
Yeah, and they're scary. If they're going, if they're on, if they're feeling themselves, they're like, all of the shots are ridiculous, and like competing against them, it's definitely a little terrifying.
Yeah. Frosty evades. Do you think the competition in London will be up to par with events in the U.S.?
I don't, and it's not. I'm not knocking London or the players that are in that region, but it's just more so the fact that a lot of the North American teams cannot make it over there, and that's just
right.
that's what it is. And so, I think there are some very talented players that region. Jimbo is one of those guys that really stands out. I watch his stream, and I've known him for a really long time. And his squad are solid. They placed top 8, I think, at this last event.
I think so, yeah. Sage Esports,
yeah, Sage, isn't it? Yeah, and so it's definitely not going to be as competitive, but you never want to overlook any of the teams, and so we're going into it, still with that chip that we want to get a win.
Yeah. Proto923, should Halo teams or players have walk-up songs, and why would Neighbor's team think about using any other song but The Game by Motorhead?
That's the best question of all time. Yeah, I 100% agree. So I'm like I said.
Do you have a walk-up song? Is that what you're saying? Or?
I mean, so the game he's talking about is Triple H's theme song.
Okay.
So if you're a WWE fan,
right,
it's epic as hell. But yeah, no, I think it'd be dope. There's actually a tournament. So I'm a big fan of the FGC, so the fighting game community.
Right, me too.
And there's a tournament called CEO where
it's in the ring. Yeah.
It's in the ring. And every year players come out to different theme songs, and it just adds to the atmosphere, adds to the grandeur of being at the tournament. If we had our own specific song, it would be made for our team. It'd be dope. It'd be cool to see Snipe Down and Ola walk out to their theme song looking like that. While all the people are cheering yeah,
or not looking like badasses.
Or
that
not.
That would be
really
the special.
Yeah, but that would be hilarious as well. People were looking super cool, doing poses, it'd be hilarious.
All cringe, yeah. But you're right, it needs to happen. Actually, that I think about it, you're one of those people who have more personality in Halo, right? You kind of shine not just as a player, but you like to bring that personality on the stage. I remember back and I didn't go and find the clip, but at a UGC St. Louis, you said something about whooping their ass or something on stage. It was a little cringy, but it was
that was directed specifically towards Lethal, and I think we ended up losing the very next series. So it's big flop. Big flop.
But it needs to be in Halo because that's where you create fans and that's where you create narratives, and that's what lets the game live on. So I think that's a good question, Proto. I think we should have walk-up songs or something like that, or have, like you said, you like the fighting game community. I've said this a million times. We need Summit for Halo when Halo Infinite comes out, like the Summit House, and all the pro players go to the house. They play against each other. They do fun events cool. Mafia and shit like that. It's a good time.
That'd be awesome.
Smash guys do that right now. It's a great time. Anyway, Skyline. Does Neighbor miss the LAN network, and does he still talk to Tots?
I do miss the LAN network. Some of the best times of my life with some of my favorite people that I've met through gaming. Because we compete, we practice, but at the same time, we would have ridiculous times outside of the whole Halo stuff. So it was a great time in my life, and I haven't talked to Tots in a while. I'm hoping with this next tournament being in Chicago, I'll be able to see Mr. P, Mr. and Mrs. P, and see Ants. I would love to see Ants because he is one of the funniest kids of all time. But yeah, so definitely gonna get in touch with them.
Are the Pinocchios still big Halo fans?
I know Mrs. P. She likes a lot of the Halo stuff that we post to social media.
Right.
Mr. P, he hasn't been around for a while, so they might still watch. I'm not sure. I hope he does. I know, he's out of all the guys, that would support our teams. He was such a competitive guy and always wanted our team to win, or whatever team Ants was on. He wanted them to win badly. And
right.
Yeah, no, it'd be awesome to see him, and I really hope they turn out.
What this makes me think of is, some of the Halo. Okay, there's one. It's Pro Halo Mom or whatever. It's Aces.
Aces
the
Mom.
Parents that support their pro players. There's a bunch of them. It's actually pretty funny on Twitter. Yeah, they've got Ace's mom, and she'll retweet any of Ace's stuff. She likes the breakdown and stuff that I did on Ace. There's a couple other moms though too, and they all know each other and they're all friends. There's other. I think it's Spartan's mom mom and dad. They're pretty invested. Anyway, it's a whole other thing.
Yeah, I met straight Six Dad at St. Louis.
I did too.
Second.
Yeah.
And he's playing against him. He's one of those vocal guys in the crowd. I'm like, dude, this guy's annoying as hell. I sat next to him when they were in the finals, and I had a nice conversation with him. Great guy, awesome. And he's there to support his son.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of these parents that are really vocal and supportive are good people. So
The biggest fans for sure.
the biggest fans.
D Wolfmane, who currently has the Halo marbles?
Who currently has the Halo marbles? I have the Halo marbles, and I've had them for a long time. So, well, technically, myself and Clutch do. So we land in my backyard. So Wolfman is my roommate.
Okay.
In our backyard, we have a yurt, and inside this yurt, we have 8 OG CRT TVs,
Okay.
8 OG Xboxes, and a ton of Xbox One
Sounds freaking
controllers.
dope. Yeah.
And so we land Halo 2 quite a bit. And the last Halo 2 LAN we had, it was a couple months ago, but it was a 4v4. We had Dursky show up, a lot of the 343 guys. I think Muggsy maybe. There were a lot of people there. I don't remember exactly, but it was when it was snowing out here, so it was like 20-degree weather, 3 feet high of snow, and this yurt is not insulated well, so it's cold as fuck. So we're all playing in like 2 hoodies, jackets, snow boots. Dursky doesn't have socks on. Like, no one could feel their feet because, like, the snow's melted through the shoes.
That sounds terrible.
And we're landing Halo. Yeah, we're landing. The very last series, we call it the marbles match, which means whoever wins gets to hold the fake marbles until the next LAN. And Captain Clutch came through on midship TS. We were down by like 12. And he just like went off, and I think he dropped probably 20 kills or something. And we ended up winning. And if you lose, you hear about it until the next LAN. So we talk shit to each other all the time about that. And I guess Egan was on our team because I don't know why he'd bring that up. Because I was thinking, no, he was on the other team. Like, yeah, he doesn't have marbles. I don't know why he'd expose himself like that. That's actually embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
Damn, that's actually sick. You guys have that. Great question. Thank you. Skinleys, Mason Cobb, how is the change from being sponsored from a company like MLG to now nowadays esports teams?
Yeah, so technically I was never sponsored by MLG. I had a player contract under them which meant that any sponsor that was acquired by either myself or MLG, I had to give them 20%.
Okay.
But being sponsored by a specific company like Dr. Pepper's or Gunner or Old Spice, it's definitely different than, working with the esports team because, with Old Spice and those sponsorships, they pretty much just outline, like, we need you to do X, X, Y, and B, like, you had to post a blog, you had to do a tweet, you had to do some other thing, and you had to do that, like, twice a month, let's say.
Okay.
Now, but the difference so far, with in terms of working with like the esports work, they're more so like, I guess we communicate all the time and we try and like plan, our future with what events would be good for the brand and for us as as a team,
right?
And try and like grow together because if Fallen Esports is fairly new, not many people have heard about them, before this event, and so. With that being said, we're as a team, like, we like working with them a lot and they like working with us. So we're just trying to grow and become and try and make something special out of it and see where, and it definitely has a lot to do with where, the competitive Halo community and scene will be in the future. But I think, starting now and leading up to it, I think we can do a lot together. So
yeah, more of kind of a grassroots approach in a way and an ongoing conversation for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. Second last question. Tony's like outlining the. Okay, so I got no aimbot says, is Mason gonna make another Halo music video?
Is Mason gonna make another Halo? Oh, dude, I forgot about that video. Yeah, so I was in a video. God, I don't remember the YouTubers that. It's the. Did you see the video? It was I'm in love with Halo.
I did.
It's like the okay.
This is another video I got to put on the list now.
There's a One Direction song. That's what makes like. Oh God!
I saw you dancing at the end of a tribute to you at the very end of the credits or something. You were dancing.
Yeah, was I?
What was that
a
dance?
TikTok?
I think so. Yeah, and you had some serious. Some
that was Lady Gaga. When Bad Romance first came out.
Oh God, dude.
I learned the dance steps in my room while my parents were downstairs.
That's unrelated, I guess. That's another thing.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I think it's because that dance was like the thing, and I was like, I swear to God, I made that dance video for a girl, and it ended up on the internet. I don't know. Anyway.
Damn.
Yeah, no, probably not. I mean, unless like there was like some YouTuber that's like, I want to collab because your rap skills are dope, then yeah, maybe I'll do a little thing here and there. I don't know. We'll see.
Now featuring Neighbor, let's go. Okay, last question from Boo Boo Doo. Welcome, Boo Boo. What is your
Boo-boo.
fastest? Yeah, sorry.
I love Boo Boo.
Oh, okay. What is your fastest 5K, Neighbor?
5K, my fastest.
Oh, because you guys are both running, right? Because
Yeah.
I had a whole discussion with Boo Boo about running and
So honestly, I don't
mental,
know.
physical health. He might be beating you now. I don't know. He's been going hardcore.
Yeah, no, him and I had a good conversation about running. My fastest, so I don't. It's got to be up there because I mean I'm running 7-minute miles, and I could run 7-minute miles for about 6 miles straight. Like your boy's pretty endurance. My dad used to be a marathon runner, and so he used to take me to events. Like I went to Boston with him, and I went to Canada. And so it's something I try and stay physically fit, and running is a good release for me, especially if I have like any Halo related thing that's on my mind.
Right.
That I want to get off and not think about. I go for a run, and so I don't know what the fastest is, but you know, I definitely plan on racing Boo Boo at the next event. That is something I am willing to state on this show. I will challenge Boo Boo to a 5K race for $10.
Let's get it. You've heard it here.
You heard it here first, ladies.
Chicago? Is that where it's going down, or London?
Yeah, Chicago. Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. We have a secondary event. HCS Tashi. I see Muggsy now, who's just appeared in the chat. We got to get this on film somehow. Muggsy literally just said Boo Boo is definitely beating Mason in a foot race. Has him beat by a decade. Ooh.
Whoa!
Ooh.
Muggsy.
Damn.
You're my boy.
He just came in here to, I don't know, just to stir up the.
Yeah, the thing is, Boo Boo does have the stride. I'm not gonna lie, he has a stride. But the thing is these calloused feet, these 29-year-old calloused, you're not touching the boy. Too quick.
Yeah. I want to see this. I want both in the game and outside the game. There's competition to be had, and I think we have a lot to be excited about for Chicago. London. There's so much coming up, man.
A lot going on.
Yeah, man. Altogether, that was our last question. I gotta say thank you for coming on the show. This was a ton of fun. Great talking to you, man. I learned so much about you and your career, and yeah, man. I hope I keep getting to learn more, and hopefully I get to see you in future events. Great conversation, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on, and I think you're doing a killer job. And congrats, by the way, on getting the grassroots partnership program. I did watch the video of that last week, and I think it's very much warranted. And yeah, thanks for having me on, and I'd love to be on, after we win this London and Chicago event.
Let's go. We'll have the post-London chat. You can grab Eco and Frosty if they are with you at the time. Maybe just kind of put them on the show. You can shove them in there. We'll get Ace in there too. I'll have all four of you. I don't care. Well, let's do it.
Sounds good.
I think Eco said that he would come on if Frosty comes on, but Frosty. So there's a whole thing. Anyway, I got to figure it out.
I'll talk to him.
All right. Sounds good, man. Thank you so much for joining me, and yeah, good luck on the grind, dude.
Cool. Thank you, Alex.
No problem. All right, that closes our show for today. I forgot to mention this in the beginning of the show, guys, so I'm sorry, but I'm hoping that Tony followed through in the absence of the announcement, and that was that we were supposed to be doing a grassroots skin and nameplate giveaway. If that's still happening, the process to enter the contest is to type !grassroots in the chat. If you've already done that, great job. I'm assuming we're going to get the winner of the competition in my chat here. I'm actually not sure, though, because I never announced it at the beginning of the show, but hopefully you guys are informed. Hopefully this is still happening. I know because I go back and I read the comments. Some of you guys are disappointed that you don't get the skin. Like, I'm sorry that you didn't get the skin. Just hang out with us and engage in the show and have fun. And maybe that can be your takeaway. It's not just about the BR skin. All right. Okay. Anyway, what do we got, Tony? What's the who's the winner of this? And I'm going to wait here idly. I'm actually going to open up the Twitch chat now and see what you guys are up to if Tony takes a while. Oh, wait, we got it. All right. So congratulations to Lil Hulk, who has won it this time. Thankfully, Lil Hulk's name is PG-13. It's good. I don't have to talk about other disgusting things that I had to talk about last time. Anyway, wait. Tony says wait. Is there a drama? Did he mess it up? Come on, there are people who came here just for the skin, and they don't care about this show at all. They just want this. Oh, he's not in the chat. Okay, we got to re-roll. What are we doing? See here. I'm calling you out, people in the chat. We just came here for the skin. God damn it. Okay, here we go. We got Chromio. All right, hold on. Let me just mute this. Congratulations, Chromio, for winning the BR skin and nameplate giveaway. Guys, we give this away every single week. You come back next week. You have an opportunity to win it. Maybe we'll throw in a couple extra ones. We had 3 last week with Tashi. There's always an opportunity to win, and you can get those goodies. You can hang out, have a fun time. And, of course, we always have another interview with another great player. And yes, the merch as well. Tony throwing it up before I bring it up. Guys, you can buy merch also. Not only does it support the show, it supports me as well. And that will close the show for the evening. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more Halo news and interviews. See you guys around.